Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to my Sekiro New Game Plus 4 run-through, where I'm going to be doing all bosses, and I'm also going to show you how to unlock all 4 endings. Now, I say that, but in reality, 2 of the endings are default. You can just get them without doing anything in particular, but the next 2 have a lot of very intricate, but difficult things to do in order to figure out exactly what you need, where you need to go, and how are you going to do it. So, this is the tutorial area. It's kind of pointless, doesn't really serve much. You can kill, the mini-boss here in your first new game because I think it gets you a prayer bead, but overall, for any subsequent new game, there's no point to fight anything. You don't get experience for kills, you don't get money, there's barely anything in regards to items. But I'm going to talk to Kuro, and I'm going to keep the charm on me because I'm not doing charmless. I don't want to take chip damage with my blocks, and I don't care about getting 20% more money or experience because I've essentially maxed out everything already. Now, what's interesting to note is that unlike, Dark Souls, when it comes to NPC quests and whatnot, they're actually really easy to accomplish in this game, but unlike the endings, they're a lot harder. Like, for example, Dark Souls 1, you have 2 endings, either you link the fire or you leave. Dark Souls 2, you sit on the throne or you leave. Dark Souls 3, you link the fire, let it die. Or behind in an area when you kill a boss, you can pick up one item, which is the eyes, give them to the Flame Firekeeper, and then when she shows up, then you're good. That's your third ending. Here, you need to do a lot of stuff in a lot of obscure areas in order to figure out exactly how to unlock these new endings, which is kind of opposite from how the Dark Souls work, because Dark Souls, the NPC quest chains in Dark Souls are way harder. Sigmar of Katarina, that's a huge ordeal, very hard to screw it up. Dark Souls 3, Henri was it? I can't remember her name. But, the wedding quest line, that one's really hard, easy to screw up. So here, it's the opposite. And so we're going to be doing everything necessary in order to unlock this. And it's going to be a bit ugly, but that's okay. So we're getting to the first Genichiro fight, and I'm just going to die. If you want to see a different cutscene, then you can kill him, and you get a different cutscene. But again, in the tutorial area, it doesn't matter. If you kill him, unlike, Demon Souls, where, if you kill the Vanguard Demon, you get a bunch of extra special items and souls. Or this isn't from software, but, Salt and Sanctuary. If you kill that first boss, you get a really nice endgame item. Here, you don't get any items, you don't get any souls or experience, you don't get anything. So I'm just going to have him kill me, and we'll continue on our way. So, you'll notice that when I'm running through Sekiro, I'm kind of awkward about it. The way it's set up is because you're a ninja and they want you to feel like a ninja and you're running fast and you're so nimble and quick. Grapple here, jump there. They don't want you just constantly accidentally running off narrow passages into your death. So they stick you a bit. So you'll notice that unless I do, a perfect jump when I'm running like right there, when I hit a ledge, I'm going to stick to it a little bit. So the way it's designed is that you can stick, but if you continue running after that, you can run off the edge. So when I'm trying to do like actual falls, I'll screw them up quite a few times because I'm just not used to the stickiness that exists there. But again, it's not a huge issue. I'm just pointing it out. I'm also going to be sitting at a lot of these sculptor idols, which I don't have to sit at. There's no reason to sit at them. In your new game, obviously, you're going to want to do that, but in later playthroughs, there's just no point. You're going to hit 2 checkpoints later on where they're going to take them all away from you anyway, and so you're going to have to get them back again. You'll also notice that as I play through, like here, for example, sometimes I'll just backstab an enemy or, pick up a random item. If I don't point it out, I don't need the item. There's nothing important to it. It's just, it's a fun game, and sometimes you just get the urge, like, oh man, I really want to backstab this guy, so you go and do that. So here I'm getting the bell, which will bring me to the Hirata estate. You'll notice the background is purple, and I'm pretty sure that means that I've gotten it before. It might mean that it's still in my inventory. I'm not actually sure. I've never bothered to test it because I've never really cared about going out of my way just to get it. But it's possible that you need to do it regardless. So, I don't know, it's possible that I never need to talk to her again, and I can just always go into the Hirata state in my new games from now on. Maybe you do have to talk to her every time, I don't know. But I do it just, why not? Safety. Makes it so I don't have to backtrack. Now, my goal here is I should have rested at this idol to reset everyone, but I didn't because I'm dumb. So that rooster is going to caw, and he's going to activate all these people. And I saw a video a couple days ago where you can run up the side and stealth backstab the ogre for one of his health bars, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that, so my goal was actually to try it to see if it still worked, because it's possible it got patched out. I don't know if it did get patched out or not, because I know they patched out the stealth kill on True Corrupted Monk, the first one. You can still do the second, but you can't do the first. So I wanted to try it out, so here I am, you know, bending over, being all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, but no, Roosters and everything screwed everything up, and instead, I'm gonna get grabbed and smashed into the ground, and I'm not gonna get my backstab off, and here I'm gonna that activates the spear enemy, perfect, just what I needed. So I'm not gonna lie, the first two mini bosses and the first boss are gonna be a bit rough. It's just going to be kind of awkward all around. There I go, getting grabbed again, smashed into the ground, perfect. Got to make sure you always heal up to full, because that one grab will take off, you know, like 85% of your health. Yeah, and I screw up a Mikiri counter. Genius, get kicked, you know. I swear it'll get better later. But I'm just going to throw some shurikens, kill that guy. Generally, I'd say this is my most used Shinobi art. Shinobi prosthetic is just throwing shurikens just to kill random mobs, so I don't have to fight multiple groups. The only other one I use is, as you can see here, the flame vent. I don't really use prosthetics much on any other boss. I'm sure that there are a lot of bosses where you could use them to make it easier and better. I've just really never bothered. But yeah, so this guy I actually ended up using it, like setting him on fire, hitting him with fire. I will say that the one downside and my biggest gripe with this game are the mini bosses. When you're first playing a new game, you want to, you know, kill the mini bosses because they're going to give you a prayer bead, which will increase your health and your posture. Subsequent playthroughs, they just drop, you know, a bag of money, which is like 500 sen, and give you some XP. Now, the XP that they give you is garbage. It's pointless. Like, I mean, you're going to get roughly 4,000 to 6,000 if you're lucky off of these mini bosses, and that's nothing. When it comes to getting the skill points, and if you care about getting all achievements, you end up needing to get all the skill points, get all the skills. The last 26 cost as much as the previous 100 or something like that. So you sit there and you're like, great, so my final skill point, the very last one you'll need, is something, I think, 82,000 XP, and it's like, okay, so I just spent I need 82,000, and I just spent, you know, I don't know, however long fighting this mini-boss, and I get 4,000 XP, or 5,000 XP. Great, I'm 1/20th of the way to getting my skill point from this, and this is from a mini-boss, like, it's not random mobs, it's just, you know, a mini-boss, and it's supposed to be good and important, and you're going to want to fight them, but the rewards for fighting them is nothing. So you just end up avoiding all the ones that you can. Now, I'm going to be avoiding all the ones that I can, obviously, but I'm not doing skips. Like, I'm not doing any out-of-bounds skips, I'm not doing bull skip, I'm not doing the ogre skip. I don't do any of the skips like that like you see in speedruns, because I'm just playing it through normally as I run through. Important thing quick here for when you face the snake. If for some reason you end up jumping and you take a bit of fall damage, heal it. Because if you get unlucky and the snake's going to hit you, it will take off about 95% of your health. So if you fall and you take, say, 8% fall damage, heal it. Because if that snake hits you, you're dead. So it's just safer to always be at full health with this stuff. Go on your way and be happy. But yeah, so my biggest gripe is with the mini-bosses, because there aren't very many bosses in Sekiro. That's not bad. Like, it's not a bad thing, I don't mind. There's like, I think 14 or something. But there's about double that in mini-bosses. But then you sit here and you're like, great, there's a bunch more, you know, mini-bosses I could fight, but then why would I want to fight them? They're too much hassle for the reward that you get. Like, if I were to go into my inventory, I'm sure I have something to a ridiculous amount of sen, because I have nothing left to buy in the game even. Like, at some point I was just spending all my money on divine confettis, but there's no point to them anymore. Oh, and I screw up that. Yep, screw up my grapples. That's the one downside, is that sometimes your grapples are just going to be garbage, and yeah, I got hit by the snake. Luckily I can heal it up and it'll be fine. But yeah, like, again, you kill the Shichiman warriors, whatever those guys are, and the Headless the first time to get the item, and after that, why would you bother going to fight them? They're just a hassle for no reward. Like, it baffles me. I feel like the reward should have at least been a lot more souls than what they give. Or souls. Anytime I say souls, pretend I say XP. But even then, like, the bosses themselves don't give that much XP. Like, in Dark Souls, everything could be like just like Dark Souls, but in Dark Souls you're getting, I don't know, maybe 100,000 souls per boss. In later new games, probably more. I think you can get 160 from some bosses. And Here in New Game Plus 4, I think I get something like 30 to 50 if I'm lucky, which again wouldn't even be enough for a single late game skill point, which is I think ridiculous, especially if like when you hit late game, it's like, okay, this skill's going to cost you, if you're taking the most expensive one, this is going to cost you 9 skill points. It's like, okay, so what you're saying is I need to fight 18 of like the best boss of the final boss in order to unlock it? Like, no, that's ridiculous. So a lot of people just end up farming it, which is what I did. It's just, the souls are just not there, or the experience is just not there for you to get it. So here's the first boss, as you notice, and I'm really bad at it. In my defense, I will say that this is the boss that I've fought the least out of all the bosses, minus the Shura Ending boss, which I've only fought once. I've never once died to him. I think that's the main thing, is that I've never actually ended up dying to him, so I've never had an opportunity to start the fight over again. So usually I just like him being further away, and then I'll just grapple to him to interrupt him, and then just hit him again. Here I'm just being dumb and just getting hit. I should be parrying him more, but I've never really bothered with it. I will say that this is my one chance to say, if you are going to play the game in English, now the game itself, when you start it up, says it should be played in Japanese, and I agree, not to be a purist, but just that, not really the atmosphere, but just like the whole game itself just feels better in Japanese. Maybe it's because it's all about Japanese mythology and all that, but I will say, if you do choose to play English and the voice acting is garbage, this guy here, Gyoubu Oniwa, is actually great. His English voice actor went 120,000% on his voice acting, and it's the best part of the whole English language. And he's actually a meme. He's a Sekiro meme, which I just recently discovered, and I was like, I can see why that English voice actor is amazing. But yeah, so this guy just smacking me around a whole bunch. The start of this run is going to be rough. Like, I'm not gonna lie about that. It's going to be rough until I finish the Flaming Bull, which means after the next mini boss, it gets a bit better until he reaches the Demon of Hatred. But yeah, like what you saw just there when I grappled to him, that's what I'm used to doing. You just grapple to interrupt and then smack him a bunch, and it's all good. But I mean, it's not the hardest boss. I'd say it's an annoying boss just because he's always running around you on a horse, and so you're stuck in that thing where it's like, do I wait for him to come to me and let his posture bar go down, or do I try to chase after him and get a couple hits in to keep the posture going? And that's what, just, it's that indecisiveness that means, you don't know what to do. So now I'm going to run to, spoilers, Isshin. I don't remember what he's calling himself here. But yeah, I'm going to run to him. Funny story is that this is mandatory to just continue the game. I thought once, because in New Game Plus and beyond, you don't need to talk to him. You don't need the Shinobi art or whatever he's going to give you if you complete his little quest, because you already have it. So I was like, I'll just bypass him, it's fine. But then you get to Kuro, and Kuro's like, go talk to Isshin in the Watchtower. So I went to the Watchtower, and the letter was there being like, I'm just leaving for a bit. And so then I went and rested, went back, wasn't there. Was like, oh, maybe resting isn't going to fix it. Maybe I'll just teleport away and then come back. Did that. Still wasn't there, sorry. So you actually have to, I came all the way back here to talk to him to get that, and then he'll show up in the Watchtower. So you do have to talk to him in New Game Plus and beyond, even if you don't need him for anything, which is slightly annoying. There's a lot of these little annoyances where in order to progress certain parts, you're forced into conversations, which is something that's not really normal from soft games. God, why did they have to have the word "from" in there? Don't ask me. Anyway, but yeah, so you have to end up talking to him. But I mean, it's not a bad thing. But yeah, we're just gonna go to the bowl. I know you should use the firecracker if you care enough about it, but I don't. Because I'm bad, but also because, again, I just can't be bothered constantly swapping out Shinobi prosthetics. The 3 that I keep on hand is the shuriken, just to kill random mobs, so I don't have, in boss fights, a bunch of random mobs running around. I also keep the flame vent because Ogre plus flame vent, I guess it's fine. That's kind of the one I'll get rid of the most. And then I have the axe, and the only reason I have the axe is for the 2 times when I have to fight dudes with shields, because I can just smack their shields away, and then I'm good to go. So this bullfight is a lot like the Gyoubu Oniwa fight, just where it's one of those situations where they're running around non-stop. Pardon me. And that's just that, like, it's just an annoying fight to begin with. Now, I will say that this is the first time that I've actually ended up fighting the boss in this open area. Every single other time I fought him, it's been down by the fog gate in that really short enclosed area, so he's constantly getting, trapped on the walls and in the corners, and it made the fight a lot easier. So this is my first time facing him in an open area where he can turn around a lot easier and just smash me in the face over and over. And then I kind of sit there and cry and get set on fire. But that's okay. Again, like, who cares if your fight's ugly so long as you win? Forgive me as I drink some water. And my disgusting throat noises. Apologize. But yeah, I mean, the way you're supposed to do this fight, I mean, there's multiple ways, but the easy way is the firecracker, because it just interrupts him, but it also makes him jump up on his hind legs, whereas the most posture damage and ease of killing is by smashing him in the head. It'll do the most posture damage to him. I mean, honestly, the way I was doing it before, which I kind of can show off here, but again, not really, because he's so wide in the open, is I just stick near his back leg, and then I can just smack him over and over. Because generally when he does his head swivel, it'll miss you. But, I mean, there's not much you can do about it. It's not a big deal. Plus, I will say this, when it comes to your new games and all that, all of these bosses become a fair bit easier because you have just so many healing gourds. Like, with the first one you're facing Genichiro, it's like, okay, great, this is a 3-phase fight, but I only have 3 gourds, so I better make them count. Whereas here it's like, yeah, 3 phases, 10 gourds, plus, 3 resurrections. I'm pretty sure I'm good. Okay, so here's where I'm going to do my first little bit of importance for progressing the return ending. And essentially what's happening here, there's two ways that you have to do it. This is the way, if you know beforehand, you can do it. And spoilers, I know how to do it beforehand, so good for me. Is that, well, first I'm going to rest and fix everything. But the thing is, I'm going to talk to that old lady on the bridge. Now, obviously, when you first play the game, you're going to talk to her. It's like, hey, it's an NPC, I'm going to talk to the old lady on the bridge. But then the reason for actually talking to her becomes irrelevant, because chances are you're going to go finish Genichiro before you're going to end up at the Senpo temple. Whereas for me, on the other hand, I'm not going to do it that way. Now, I do open up these doors. It's not necessary. I do end up sitting at the sculptor idol, which again is also not necessary because by the time I'm going to end up in this area, I'll have lost access to the idol and I'll have to do it again. But I do like opening these doors because later on, when I have 2 options for how I want to get back into the castle, I prefer this way over the swimming way, just because the diving and swimming is annoying. But, so we've sat at the idols, we're all hunky-dory and happy and good. Now, before we go to Genichiro, I am going to go to the abandoned dungeon, and I'm going to go through to the Senpo Temple. And the whole reason for this is I need to get a book. Now, this book is essential for the, unification ending. I'm probably gonna screw up what it's called again. I'm gonna call it the dragon ending. We're gonna call it the dragon ending. So you need for the dragon ending. If you screw up, well, sorry, that's really dumb of me to say. If you don't know the path, you're not locked out of it if you don't do this early. Later on, once you can swim underwater, you can go back to the Senpo Temple and you can dive into the lake there, and at the bottom, the book is there. So you're never locked out of it. You don't have to do this right away. I'm just doing it because I want to get it out of the way and I don't want to have to worry about it later on when I have a bunch of other conversations and stuff to do. Again, I don't have to sit at this idol either. Like, a lot of these idols that I'm going to sit as just, just an obsessive disorder. I mean, not actual OCD, but, when you see it, you're like, oh man, a sculpture art, I need to sit at it. Oh man, a bonfire, I need to sit at it. Just activate it. You never know if you're going to need it. Spoilers, you're never going to need it because you're not facing anything hard. But anyway, I just sit at them. But yeah, so I'm just going to go there and get out of the way so I don't have to worry about it later on. because there's a lot of stuff that you need to do in weird orders, and some people say some things online in regards to certain aspects of it, and I don't know if they're entirely true. I'm going to follow them because if it works, then hey, at least I'm not going to screw it up that way, and I am going to talk about them when I get to them. But yeah, so we're just going to ride the elevator up, we're going to hit Senpo Temple, and we're going to get the book, and then we're going to continue on the main path. So, we're not really, here's where, though, the Divine Child's going to try to talk to us, and other minor gripe about this, I don't like the fact that I can't, spam past the words there, which means I have to wait for them to finish talking entirely before I consider it a sculptor idol. And here I'm going to be turning around like 3 times because I'm indecisive about how I want to do this. Now, the way I end up doing it is probably wrong. The only Shinobi art I use is the Puppeteer one. It's the only one I keep on the bar. I don't really care about them at all. But I could do this later, and it's probably better to do it later, but I'm going to Shinobi Puppeteer art him. I'm going to hit him with Puppeteer art so he's going to activate the kite. And quick sidebar. This is the worst part of level design in Sekiro. The fact that you need to do a lot of these vertical grapples are hard to get onto. And if you don't position your camera perfectly, you can't see, or you're not allowed to do a grapple. Valve did a whole thing like a decade ago in Half-Life 2 about how hard it is for gamers to look up. And I don't know why, but it's true. Just so many... You never think to, tilt your camera up to look up. You just don't do it naturally. So the fact that a lot of this stuff in Sekiro is dependent upon you looking up and properly makes it really hard in some areas to be like, where am I supposed to get out of here? The big one that happened for me in my new game is actually over here. When you try to go across the bridge, I didn't know where to go for the longest time. So the old lady's here too. She's in a couple places. She's also up near the monkey, and you can feed her rice in order to get a hint about what you're supposed to be doing. This is the hint for the kite. And she just asks for rice, and I end up giving her rice, not for any really particular reason. It's just what I do. I'm just setting up the sculptor idol. Again, this is dumb. I should just save it for later, because I'm getting the sculptor idol now, but I should just wait till the snake is actually there before I do it, because then I could just do the whole thing, kill the snake, be on my way. Instead, here I have to get the idol, go there, just to check it out. There's no snake. And then I have to come back later anyway. So it's pointless and dumb, and it's my bad. I think what I'm actually trying to check here is to see if I could survive the drop down into the water, so I could then just, skip to the next sculptor idol, but I can't. So I give up and go back. But back to the old lady. So online it said that you cannot have rice on you in order to have the Divine Child give you rice. Now this doesn't matter for now, it's for way later. So anytime I got an opportunity where I could give rice to an old lady, I'm going to give her the rice, just because from previous playthroughs, I think I have 2 rice in my inventory right now. But you can eat them yourself. So I'm just going to end up, whenever I get rice, I'm just going to eat it immediately so I can deal with, the Divine Child. And I'll point it out when I get there. It's pretty obvious. It'll be like, hey, here I am in my inventory, eating rice. So, part of Senpo Temple is done. I don't have the book yet, but that's fine. I just did the sculptor part. But here I'm going back to the Headless Ape to deal with the second boss, which is Lady Butterfly. Didn't need to sit at the idol, but you're going to hear me say it 27,000 times. Like, didn't you sit at that idol? Didn't you sit at this idol? And yet here I am sitting at all the idols like an idiot. So this is an area we're going to go to twice. The second time is because of the purification ending, because as I said, I want to do as many bosses as possible. I'm calling it all bosses, but it's kind of all bosses that are possible to get to, because again, I don't want to constantly asterisk it and be like, all bosses minus Shura boss. But this way, you can do the separation ending, I think it's called, I can't remember, but it's just your default final ending. You can do the purification ending, and you can do the dragon ending. And you can do them all together. So that way, what that means is that you're not just always locked into purification ending if you want to kill as many bosses as possible. But this stuff's really easy. It's just generally a straight run. The biggest annoyance for Headless Ape is that you are stuck with doing another mini-boss fight because you're stuck with a fog wall, and it's really annoying because, again, well, surprise, surprise, there's no reward. I missed the jump there for the grapples, and I've kind of screwed everything up, so, you know, kill the archer with shurikens, which is what I use the most, just to kill those stupid guys. Then I realized these guys are going to follow me, and this is why I have the axe equipped. This is one of the 2 places, really, where I end up actually using the axe, just to break their shield and be on my merry way. But I am going to say a funny story back, and I don't know the correct order for this. I've never bothered to check it, because after I did it in New Game, it didn't matter ever again. So, I went and killed, I think, the first boss and all that. And then, I don't even know if I'd killed the first boss by that point. But when I was doing my first playthrough, I got the bell, and I came back, and at some point I ended up at the dilapidated temple, and I got into the Shura state, and I got to this boss. And I was trying to fight him over and over, and I was dying non-stop, and I just kept dying and dying and dying. And then the Sekiro help tip came up saying, you know, you should be using Mikiri counter on this guy, because it's way better. And then it tells you how to do Mikiri counter. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I was trying to, you know, do Mikiri counter on him, and I was getting smashed. And I was like, Googling, I'm like, how do you Mikiri counter? How do you do this? And then it's like, yeah, you need to, you know, pay for the skill for it. Now, I had skill points for it, but at this point, for some reason in the game, I hadn't actually unlocked any of the Shinobi skills. So I couldn't actually unlock Mikiri counter. So the game's telling me, you should go unlock Mikiri counter, but I didn't actually have access to any of the skills for it, so I didn't know how to get them. Now, at some point, I must have left the Yukirata state and just run around doing, I can't even remember what. And then it was like, here, you've unlocked your first Shinobi arts. And I was like, hooray, now I can actually get Mikiri counter. And then I came back here and killed him. But I thought that was really awkward, that somehow they'd let me come to this Hirata estate, fight this guy, who's really the first big roadblock you're going to encounter, and be like, yeah, you really need this one skill, but spoilers, it's entirely possible that you haven't unlocked the ability to unlock it yet. And I felt really stupid. But anyway, that was just a thing for me, which is why I'm now always paranoid every time I go up against the Shinobi Hunters, because I'm just really bad against them. So we're just going to do a straight run through, get shot by the God Archer, the archer that can for some reason shoot me from a mile away, right in the back, makes me happy. Talk to Owl, our dad is dying, makes me sad. To give you the key to go face the Lady Butterfly. Yeah, regular old running, jumping, twisting, pulling. It's entirely possible that I can jump like straight in, but I didn't try. And then I got paranoid that I could jump in, so I'm gonna try to jump in here. Nope, I'm an idiot. Perfect. So I'm just gonna go the old-fashioned way. I will say this, is that much like, you know, Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, here's looking at you, Dark Souls 2, you piece of crap game, I hate you. They do encourage or allow you to easily run past enemies, which is a very nice thing that From has always done. So we're just going to sit here, and we're going to get ready for the next mandatory mini-boss fight, which is irrelevant and pointless, and gives me no rewards. It's not really a bad fight, or a hard fight. It's just a lot of mobs are in it, which again, the reason I have shurikens is just shuriken everything I can. There's only really one true boss fight where I'm going to shuriken stuff, and even then it's because I don't like the mob, and so I kill the additional mob, which, spoilers, is going to be the Headless Ape, because I'm bad at the ape fights, but that's okay. So yeah, we're going to go charge in. Wild Wanderlust. Yep, throwing shurikens, you know, just get rid of as many as possible. And then the second time I'm going to take out the axe, because once again, shield guys are annoying and I hate them. Run away, run away. Perfect. Yeah, I will say if you're going to do anything, just, you know, having the axe guys or the axe one is pretty nice. Shuriken, you honestly could take it or leave it. And Flame Vent, take it or leave it. Depends on how good you are with the Ogre. I will say the biggest downside with the Ogre is just his grab is so fast that it becomes really hard to get your timings down on it properly. Which is fine. Like, it's not a huge deal. But Flame Vent isn't necessary for Ogres. It just helps a lot. But yeah, like with 2 people on him, this is a really easy fight. It's just a time sink, bit of a waste of time. Not so much in New Game. Like again, everything I'm saying here is in regards to New Game Plus, which I'm assuming like 85% of players are never going to get to. Though, interesting note in regards to Steam, which tracks global achievements. When it comes to stuff like getting all achievements in the game, Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 3, so all of them, are sitting at roughly 2.5% for having all achievements. Sekiro, on the other hand, is sitting at, I believe, 6-point-something%, which means that 3 times as many players have maxed out Sekiro rather than over Dark Souls. But again, that's probably also because a lot of the achievements don't require multiple things. Like, you don't just, in here is pretty much, get your health upgrades, get your skill upgrades, get all the prosthetics, which is something you're going to naturally do anyway, and then, get the 4 endings. Whereas Dark Souls is, get all endings, get all miracles, get all sorceries, and some of them, especially the miracles, you end up needing to farm for them, like play online. Generally, like, you have to do the, you either have to grind really hard or, for Sunbros to get your final miracle, which takes a long time, and I'm sure a lot of people just don't even bother, whereas here, since everything's more streamlined and easier to do, probably a lot more people are, like, willing to do it with only needing to grind, souls for the skills. But we're going to go up against Miss Butterfly, Lady Butterfly. First time against her, she's hard because she's fast, does a lot of attacks, and again, in your new game, you're not going to have tons of posture, and you're also not going to have very many gourd seeds, so it's a bit tough. But I mean, in any new game, she's relatively easy. She doesn't do tons of posture damage. She doesn't even really do a lot of health damage. And as long as you're prepared for her, she dies pretty quickly. Well, oh yeah, and this is the one fight where shurikens are actually used as part of the boss battle. Oh, she postured through it. The one downside is when you get some attacks with enemies who posture through your attack, so that way they continue to and hit you. But yeah, this is the one enemy where you want to use your shurikens. You don't have to, but I mean, just to make the fight go faster, you can knock her down. Makes it easier. Do a fair bit of posture damage to her, and you can continue the fight. Finish the fight, Halo 3. That was, sorry. Brain sometimes makes weird connections. You're like, I want to finish that. Which, quick sidebar, Halo Master Chief Collection, I think it's called, come to Steam. Pretty exciting. But yeah, now here's the thing where I'm just purposely being super extra aggressive. You don't have to. Honestly, dealing with her illusion isn't hard. I don't even use snap seeds. Again, I don't use consumables in fights. The only exception was New Game using divine confettis for the Headless and the Shichu. But yeah, if you're really aggressive and don't let her, get breathing space, you can just, and good thank you camera for not tracking her anymore, you can just finish it without her ever using her illusions. But even if she does, just run. Just run in circles. The worst thing that's going to happen is she's going to lose some of her posture damage. And I mean, if you finish a fight by finishing off their health bars rather than finishing off their posture bars, who cares? Doesn't matter. It just means that your fight's going to be a bit longer. But yeah, so she's dead. That's all well and good. Hunky-dory. So now we should go back to Senpo Temple, because again, I'm not going to face Genichiro until I have the book. Because this is the book that you need to give to the Divine Child to progress the Dragon Ending. And so that's what we're going to do. And it's really easy to get. And we have to go there anyway later on, so just getting the idol for it is fine. This is just a situation where I should have just gone straight there rather than do the kite. But that's okay. And it's honestly, it's just more running. I am, of course, bypassing, I don't remember what he's called. Centipede? The Centipede mini-boss? I think the Giraffe mini-boss is the one that I'm forced to fight in the Sunken Valley. I think it's the Centipede here. But again, you end up bypassing it because there's no point to fighting it. It's a fun fight, but there's no point. Yep, so we're just gonna keep running. Yada yada yada. This is this room right here, or this area arena, was actually the one I had the most trouble with when I first came here because I didn't know where to go. And it was only after a long time that I found out, oh hey look, it's way up here in this far corner that I'm supposed to go in order to progress. And I was like standing at the bridge, like trying to jump off to see if there was a grapple point there, which there wasn't. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to look up, why am I so dumb? But yeah, so this is just, the cliffside. It's fun. This is actually a pretty fun traversal area. Unfortunately, we're just going to try to skip as much of it as possible and just zoom along. But that's okay. We're going to fail to jump to get past this guy. If you're really good, you can just jump past him and keep on your merry way. But when you're bad like me, you screw up a jump and then you have to end up fighting him, which is something you're not used to. It's like, why are you so much worse at fighting regular enemies than just bosses? And the answer is, well, I don't fight them that often. Also, I'm bad, but that's okay. So now we're going to face the annoying fight, which is just deal with this guy who's going to break the world. He quite literally just breaks the bridge in so many different places. You don't know what to do. There's me screwing up a Mikiri counter because, well, Mikiri counter's hard. Don't quote me on this because I don't actually know, obviously. I've never bothered to test it because my muscle memory is just not there for it. But I feel like Mikiri counters are a lot better if when you go to do your Mikiri counter, you don't hit your directional stick and just press B, and you just do it that way. The thing with me is whenever I do my Mikiri counters, I always put my directional stick to face towards them and then press B. So a lot of the times if I screw it up, you'll see me dodge past them and miss. Now, I mean, most of the time it's not a big deal because I just go past them and it's not the end of the world. But sometimes I go into them and then they smack me in the face and take me 3/4 of my health. And over the bridge he goes. Sir, I'm sorry, but Robert died. Robert was a divine child. Or sorry, he was an attempt at a divine child who died, and there was a pinwheel for him. And he is dead. Sad times. Now, directly down from here, I'm just going to quickly run past it, but if you don't get the book until after you've killed Genichiro, you're going to have to wait till you get the underwater swimming, and that lake directly to my left is where you're going to dive. You're going to dive down there, and there is the book that you're going to need for the dragon ending. But yeah, we can just, again, run past everything. There's no reason not to. Run past all these guys. Literally, I'm surrounded by those little monk dudes with little rats right now, but that's fine too. To the right is the path that leads to the one mini boss. And we're going to deal with my least favorite, well, not really deal with them, my least favorite enemy in the entire game, which are the, we're not actually going to fight any of them, because God forbid I fight them. It's the, I don't really know what they're called. They're the guys who have the, double scythe blade things, and jump really, and are really fast and are ninjas, and there's 2 of them right across there. There's actually 3. 2 of them stand back to back, and a 3rd one controls at the far end. And we just want to avoid them, because I'm the weakest against them. I ran past the 2 of them at that area where I said I didn't know where to go the first time I played. And yeah, they're really hard. So they do see you when you open here. And luckily this is Dark Souls 1 and 3, this isn't Dark Souls 2, meaning that if you get hit while trying to open doors, it's not going to interrupt you, you just get iframes, and it's perfect. So we're just going to sit here, we're going to get paranoid and run away. I should have tried to rest, but I just got paranoid they were just going to come and smash me a bunch, so I'm trying to hide. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Help me, I don't want to be found. So then I land here, and here's the guy you're supposed to talk to. Unfortunately, he doesn't like me right now. And he doesn't want to talk to me. And I'm like, oh great, I've already screwed this up. Good job, me. And so I say, screw it, I'm going to rest. And it repositions him. And I can talk to him, and he will give me the book. Now, here's the important part. Remember when I got to Ashina Castle and I talked to that old lady? You must have talked to that old lady in order to get that conversation option to talk to him here and get the book. If you don't, if you don't talk to her on the bridge and then you take the elevator up to Senpo Temple, when you see the old tag lady on the at Senpo Temple where she tells you about the kite, she will disappear from being at Castle Ashina, and you will not be able to get the book until after you've gotten the underwater breathing and swimming ninja art. So just fair warning on that. Because the first time I did it, I screwed up there. I didn't talk to the old lady, and then I got there, and I was like, please, give me the book. And I could not. Then I felt sad, and then I felt dumb. And then I just did it the normal way, which is getting it way later when it's been thrown into the lake. So now we're just going to run up and go face off against Genichiro. We're going to try to avoid everyone, including this suicide ninja guy. Kaboom. Luckily, they have homing shurikens to hurt me very badly, make me cry. Now, I'm not sure if it's this fight. I feel like it's not this Genichiro fight. I think it's later on when you're facing Owl again. It's possible to bypass this entire area and you can just, climb around. Maybe you can climb and bypass this whole area. I'm not sure. I've never bothered to test it. I don't really care because I like having the safety sculptor idol, which is through here. But it does mean that I have to face a mini-boss. Not a big deal, but, just a heads up on that. And that I'm not entirely sure if you need to actually go this whole way or not. It's possible you could just bypass all of it. But yeah, so this mini-boss is easy, but also extremely hard. If you can parry perfectly, you're going to have a great time, and it will be super duper easy, and you won't have to worry about anything. And if you're really bad at parrying, well, you're going to take a lot of damage, because if you only block, you're going to take damage from his attacks, but if you parry, you're pretty much ruin his posture immediately. So I was lucky in that I got that first double parry, and then I got it here too. And then you get overconfident, and you're like, look at how easy this is, my life is, and then you just screw up everything. And you get slashed, and it will kill you pretty much immediately. And boom goes the dynamite. So, there's a parry. Now here's something, and it's something that obviously I'm not comfortable with. You'll see me do it every now and again, but it's not really part of my muscle memory, and I'm just not good at it overall. When it comes to the horizontal slashes, you'll see that a lot of the time I end up jumping, and when I jump, I'm always, just naturally using a directional stick to point me away from them. So I'll generally jump away in a random direction. I think what you're supposed to do is you're just supposed to not hit a direction at all, and you just jump up and then you double tap it to interrupt them and do posture jamming. But I'm really bad at just naturally doing that because my normal muscle memory wants to jump away from it. So I miss out on a fair bit of posture damage by doing it the way I do it, but I mean, it doesn't really matter because I'm not taking a hit regardless, so it should all be fine. So we're facing Genichiro. And he's not bad. I mean, he's a lot harder when you're playing through the first time, because again, you only have like 3 gourds to your name, and there's 3 phases to his fight. And so you better hope you're doing well. But there's me. It's a lot rarer for him to do the straight jab when he's doing a follow-up to that. A lot of the time he's going to do a horizontal slash instead, so I just always naturally assume it's going to be the horizontal and jump away. I don't actually know if that's the case for this fight, but I fought him a lot more as the final boss. Spoilers. So that's what I'm used to. But it's not a huge issue, because normally, even if he's doing a straight jab, if you're jumping away to the left or right, odds are good that if you did the jump early enough, you're just going to jump away and it's fine. So a lot of those I should be doing a Makiri counter, but I don't try for them, mostly because it's a situation where I don't have all the bosses completely memorized. I don't remember exactly what attacks they're going to do. A lot of them are, normal, easy to deflect type things, because they're just, 5 hit in a row thing or something. And so you can just naturally try to parry or block it. You'll notice that in a lot of these boss fights, you're hearing me hit block very often, just as a safety mechanism. But overall, it's just not that bad. But yeah, a lot of these For me, the best attacks that you can rely on for posture damage are the Mikiri counter ones. They aren't super duper common, but in a lot of fights where they do have a... See, there was a Mikiri counter opportunity I missed because I forgot he has that lunge attack. There's me blocking lightning like a champion. That's another thing I'm really bad at, is I'm really bad when it comes to successfully blocking and stopping the lightning. You'll see there, that was me attempting a Mikiri counter. But again, because I'm not naturally, I don't naturally just stop my directional movement. Instead of just pressing B, I did a lunge forward B, which then ruined the entire timing for the attack, and I ended up getting it full on. And then I got struck by lightning. But that's okay, and then I got Mikiri stabbed. That's why you were trying to heal. So unfortunately, he decided to do his six combo sword there, which killed me. And I had already taken a lot of posture damage. Now, the thing when it comes to posture damage is, even if you have maxed out posture, so long as you perfectly deflect every single attack, it will not break. Unfortunately for me, I did not perfectly block all 6 of his attacks, which means that it broke my posture and then I took a bunch of damage and died. And because that was my first death, you get teleported back here and it's like, hey look, you can come back to life. And I'm like, oh man, I can come back to life. Great. But it just means that I now have to teleport back to the castle. Not a big deal, but, you know, bit of an annoyance. Though, I mean, you're gonna die at some point, so, I mean, you're gonna end up there regardless. Unless you're perfect and never take damage. So, Genichiro take 2. Again, it's not a terrible fight. There's me luckily avoiding his stab, but which I'm terrible at. See, and there it is. There was me just being dumb as a stump, taking all the hits. So, you'll notice sometimes, obviously not always, but especially when it comes to, you know, this Genichiro fight, I don't just spam attack a lot of the time. I'll wait roughly like half a pause before I continue it, because it's a situation where I don't want to get stuck in a position where I'm doing an attack that gets deflected, and then I end up taking a hit in return. But when it comes to, you know, someone like Genichiro, he takes a lot of the time, instead of doing an attack back, he will instead try to back up and use his bow. And so long as I'm waiting half that pause, it lets me either respond by blocking if he's going to do a sword attack, or follow up with a second attack in order to interrupt his bow. It's not, you know, a major thing. If you don't want to risk doing another attack on him, like you're paranoid he's gonna deflect and then hit you or something, then you can just full on wait. Whatever. Like, again, he's gonna have to come to you eventually. The only thing is, of course, the longer you wait between attacking, the less posture damage he's gonna take, because when he's at full health or close to full health, he's gonna his posture bar is obviously gonna go down a lot quicker. Also, this is me just trying to avoid lightning. Again, lightning isn't super common. You get it a bit in Fountainhead, but again, those are just regular enemies, so you don't have to fight them all the time. And then you deal with them with Genichiro, and then the final phase of the final boss fight. So it's not something that people are entirely commonly used to. So in a lot of situations, if you're not comfortable with the attack, then just try to avoid it. Like, who cares about turning it back against them? It's like, is it worth you potentially losing like half your health? Probably not. But I mean, if you want to learn, then go for it. I mean, I'm not going to say no. It took me a while. It got to a point where I was really frustrated that I thought I was doing it wrong, and I was running around looking in at my Shinobi arts trying to figure out how to do it again. And then I was Googling it because I felt like I was doing it wrong, and it turns out I was just being bad. I don't know. But yeah, it's just something to be conscious of. But yeah, so we did that, so now we're going to do a little talkie bit. It's one of the... We're going to have to do a lot of talkie stuff about 3 times in the entire run, which I find personally annoying, but I mean, what are you going to do? And it's one of these situations where you end up trying to like rush through the conversation, and then you forget that there's like a part that you're supposed to be doing, so you have to repeat the conversation to pick up who you're supposed to talk to, what you're supposed to do. So here, you only have one option. Kuro doesn't let you do the other option, so you agree to help him, talk to him, yada yada yada, try to progress the plot. This is where he'll eventually tell you to go see Isshin, which is why we had to talk to him when he was the Tengu guy. I think that's what they call him, Tengu. But you also have to talk to the incense, I guess. Like, you just have to talk to anything under the sun. Talk to him, he'll tell you, oh, go check out Isshin. But first, meet me over here. So he's going to start doing a slow walk over to the corner, so while that's going on, we're just going to open up this gate. This way, we don't have to wait for him to walk here, talk to him, and then open this gate. Now we can just run back, and he's already moved there, and we can talk to him again. Yeah, and so here he tells you to go see him in the watchtower. So we're going to go talk to Isshin, who's going to tell us where the mortal blade is, which we need. Just a lot of pointless back and forth running, but I mean, whatever. So he's going to give us some sake. We're not going to give it back to him because we don't care. We're just going to say thanks for the sake, dude. Now tell me about this mortal blade. Thank you, love this mortal blade, thank you. Now we're going to take the other option, which is, where is it? I don't know if it's necessary. I just assume it is, because I don't want to go back to Kuro, find out that I have to go back to talk to Isshin again about the second conversation option. Again, it's one of those things where I don't know if you have to or not, but I'm not willing to take the minute out of my time to test it to find out, because it just sounds like an ordeal. So now he's going to tell you, oh man, look at that, and you have to get this incense burner, because you have to know that it smells like Sakura for some weird reason. We're going to get the key, and we're going to talk to him again, and we're going to talk. He's going to give us all this crappy information, and then you're going to be like, what about the Sakura? How does that work? And the answer is, you have to end the conversation, then he'll ask you about the Sakura. You're like, oh yeah, I totally smelled that Sakura, dude, thanks very much. And then you can finally go back on your merry way. So at this point, we're just going to hit the graveyard sculptor idol. No reason. There's no reason to take it. And then we're just going to go straight for the Great Serpent idol. Just so that we have it. Well, because also we are going to end up teleporting to it later on, obviously. So it's better just get out of the way now. Or at least I think so. That's me attempting to do a jumping stab on him. Other minor gripe with the game is the jumping stabs are really inconsistent. Like, you can get there and you can have the red bar appear or the red circle, and then it will disappear like almost immediately, and then you just land there right behind them like an idiot, and then they just spot you and fight. And I wish that was a bit tighter. Usually, From is really good with tight mechanics, and while the combat is very tight, just the conditions to be met for doing jump attacks is not the best. So we're going to run past all the monkeys, because monkeys are the worst, and I hate them. And we're just going to hit the idols. And we're going to get the most important item in the game. Got to get that eel liver to give us some lightning defense. It's going to save our lives in 27 different places. That is entirely a lie. I'm not going to use it once. And you can if you want, I guess. But I don't end up using any consumables. I just felt like grabbing it. Because. And yeah, we're just going to go to this idol. And then we're going to teleport away to Senpo Temple, because we need to get the Mortal Blade. And now we're going to face off against, probably for me, the most annoying boss fight, which is the monkeys. Not because they're hard, just because I'm really bad at them. I know that, true speedrunners or whatever have like a perfect routing for them. I don't know what it is, and I've never bothered to check. So, first up, immediately behind us, is the invisible one. So he's out of the picture. Good. Now, if we were lucky, we could have been able to kill this Gong one, but no, Gong's gonna run away, and then he's he's going to chase after the green one. And I've made many mistakes of trying to throw shurikens at them, and shurikens just don't work against them. But I do know that the green one does jump to his spot here, so we're going to wait for him to land. We're going to ring the bell, and then we can kill him. And after this, it's pretty much a free-for-all. So green monkey's dead. And now we're just kind of chasing people randomly. So I am going to actually open up this door here, because on the off chance that the purple monkey comes in here, at least this way I have a chance to get him. Don't know if it's actually the case or not, if it would happen, but better safe than sorry. Traditionally, I've had the most trouble with the purple monkey, who can see you from a mile away and runs away. So I figured anything that can help with him is the best. So I'm chasing him, and he's just running off. Here's me trying to chase him, and because of how grapple works, I end up as far away from him as possible. Great. And I get attacked by the terror monkeys. Perfect. Okay, got hit like 17 times. Love it. Jumps at me, kills me. Instant death. Thank you, come again. So at this point, I'm just like, screw you guys, I'm going home. And I just run away. It's also here where, conveniently, Purple Monkey actually jumps down to that room that I prepped earlier, and that was a complete coincidence. So there he is, and I'm able to kill him. So the only one I'm missing now is the Gong Show. And unfortunately for me, I believe that the Gong Show is like generally invisible until you get really close to him. Or he sees you and rings his gong at you. But I don't know where he goes. I've never learned where he goes. I don't know pathing for it. I'm just like, this sucks. Where are you? I hate you. Please ring your gong. Luckily, if you do ring your elusive bell, it resets them. Or the hall bell. So that's what I do. I say, screw it, I'm just going to ring the bell. So that's going to reset the whole fight for me. And you're going to immediately see him right back at the start, and luckily this time he starts a patrol. So at this point, he's actually walking away from me, which is perfect. And I try to hit him, and I miss, but then I get a backstab on him, and he's dead, and we succeeded with minimal fuss, minus the terror monkeys that killed me. So this boss fight's out of the way. Thank God for that, because it's an annoying fight. So we finally reached the Divine Child, and here's where I'm going to consume the last of my rice, because I heard that if you have rice in your inventory, she will not give you more rice. I don't know if that's true or not. I just read it online, and I'm like, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to let this happen. So I'm just going to eat the freaking rice, continue on my way, and get these conditions met for the endings. So, we're just going to talk to her a bunch. And we're going to say, she's going to be like, do you want the mortal blade? And I'm going to say, yes please, give me this mortal blade so I may kill myself and die. And then I'm going to keep talking to her. And at this point, if you haven't gotten the book, then you can just go on your merry way. But if you have gotten the book from earlier, you can then... Oh, you also have to... Sorry, I guess the book isn't useful yet? I don't actually know. First, we're going to get rice. Yeah, and then we're going to give her the book. There we go. Perfect. So if you haven't gotten the book yet, again, you can do all this stuff later. It's not necessary to be done right now, but you can give her the book if you got it. Consume the rice, because why wouldn't you consume the rice? And continue on your merry way. You have to do it, I think, 3 times before you can then finally progress the whole plot for the dragon ending. So we're going to go back. And we're in the Sunken Valley. So, Sunken Valley, probably my least favorite part in the entire game. Multiple reasons. One, I get lost very easily. You'll see that I turn around a lot. Every time I turn around a lot, it's because I'm not entirely sure where I'm supposed to be going. There's a lot of different paths that you can take, but only one of them is the right one. And I'm known for taking the wrong one quite often. So I don't have this place entirely memorized yet, but luckily this isn't super painful, and we can keep going. Again, don't have to kill these guys, but it's fun. killing enemies in this game is fun, and if you're not having fun, then why are you playing? But yeah, that's another one where I was like, oh yeah, I jump up there and climb it. No, wait, it turns out the answer is you actually have to drop down here. So there's just a lot of places where you get there and then you think you're supposed to be going somewhere, but you're not. And let's not even get started on, you know, the bridge where you get shot by 50 different people. Here's me actually succeeding in a drop stab. I'm quite proud of myself for that one. I think that's the first time I've ever succeeded at it. Every other time prior to that was just me screwing it up somehow and landing behind him and then getting shot. And then, oops, turns out the paths aren't connected, so I have to run the opposite way to get to the idol. Throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip. And we're going to start this part. So we're just going to drop, we're going to do all of our grapple stuff. We're not fighting Snake Eyes, because why would I want to fight Snake Eyes? Snake Eyes sucks. And we're just going to run past her and say, thank you, have a good day, enjoy yourself, goodbye. And now we get shot 12 ways from Sunday. Fun thing about this whole area that took me way longer than really should have been necessary is right before you enter their like base, you can clearly see on the ground, you know, like the booby traps that set off the gun explosions. I had no idea what was setting them off. I was just running around like an idiot, just setting every single one of them off, wondering why every single enemy was triggering on me. That was me hoping for a ledge stab, only did not have it happen at all. But one other thing is that you'll see in a lot of places where I try to double jump up a rock, and it just doesn't let me. I wish that was a bit tighter in this game too. It's really finicky on some of them, whether you can jump up it or not. And that's kind of annoying. And so this is another mini boss. This is okay, so this is the Centipede Giraffe or whatever. Really easy boss. All you gotta do is deflect the stuff. The first time I fought him, I was freaking out, running for my life, didn't know what I was doing, nearly died. But it turns out all you have to do is just deflect his like 10 chain attack, and then when he lunges at you, double jump on top of him. That's it. I say that and then proceed to screw it up 20 ways to Sunday, but that's okay. There we go. And then you get a nice little cool bit with more pointless money that you don't need. And continue on your way. So here's where the snake comes back. This is this is also the trigger for setting the snake up for the kill. Now he's going to attack you on the bridge, and I was like, haha, I'm just going to jump straight into the water. Oh wait, turns out it's too far, and it will reset you. So then I felt like an idiot. Luckily, as I was jumping off that edge, I saw that tree. So I decided to jump, and then hookshot to the tree first, and then jump into the water and see if that works. And the survey says yes. Now you'll remember when I said anytime you take any fall damage, you should immediately heal, because if the snake hits you, you're going to die. And I did not do that. And instead he starts chasing me, and I'm scared and running for my life. When I make it, and we're all good. Snake isn't dealt with, we don't have to worry about him anymore. So now we're just going to run past all the monkeys, because monkeys are the worst. There's another failed attempt at me trying to jump up a double rock, because that's how double rocks work, I guess. And we're just going to grapple past all the Buddha statues, be happy, joyful, not worry about getting monkey booze, even though monkey booze is the best booze in the entire game. And we'll be fine. So, at this point, again, I said the Sunken Valley is the least favorite part of the entire game. Two reasons for that. One, I hate the Snake Eyes. She's terrible, and I'm bad at her, and I hate that whole area with their exploding mortar traps of doom. More importantly, I don't like the boss fights. I'll openly admit I'm bad at the monkey boss fights. I just don't find them good. Also, they slightly confuse me. I don't like how the first part of them is, you know, like Wild Beast Man, and the second part is kind of Sword, but also Wild Beast Man, so I'm not sure if I should be deflecting or just saying screw it and just kill them by their health bars. I generally decide to just kill them by their health bars. It seems to work. Makes it a longer fight, though. Also, he just runs willy-nilly. Like, he runs all over the place. And it's just annoying. Also, the fact that he has 2 grab attacks is kind of annoying as well. And let's not even get started with the Headless version, where constantly deals terror damage to you. That's awesome. Luckily, he staggers relatively easily, especially in his beast form. But then, again, as you can see, then he just runs away. And he's way faster than you. And then there's a temper tantrum. This version isn't as bad. It's his second Headless version that I really dislike. Just because anytime that they throw in multiple enemies in a boss fight, it just kind of annoys me. Dark Souls 2 is really bad at it, because Dark Souls 2 is a bad game. So the vast majority of their boss fights are multiple, because more enemies equals more complexity, right? Dark Souls 3 isn't bad with it. It has a couple. Though I'd say the DLC is much worse for that. And then Sekiro doesn't actually deal with multiple enemies that often, which is, I find, really nice. Unfortunately, the Headless Ape fight brings in, you know, the wife Ape. And she's not the worst, but it's just an annoyance for me. I'm a big fan of just the one-on-one combat. I'm sure that there are a bunch of, you know, ninja arts, or not arts, whatever they're called, I don't actually know what they're called, that you can use in order to make them easier. Like, I don't know, Release Slash or something like that, but spoilers, I don't use any of them ever, because I'm bad. I tried using Mortal Blade, you know, like in my first playthrough and stuff, and it deals a lot of damage, really good for that. But I just found so many instances of when I went to try to use it, instead I would end up taking a bunch of hits in return. So, opportunity, you'll see me, I finally equipped it there. And I was like, hey, I hadn't have any equipped. So there you go, I put in the Empowered Mortal Blade. And then I have no intention of ever using it. So yeah, so when it comes to this, I generally do all my fights just sword only. Now, you will notice what I do over my bar is I do have I believe it's the Untitled Purple Gourd or whatever. It's just the purple reusable gourd that you can buy for, like, I think it's 2,000 cent or something from one of the merchants somewhere. I don't know which one. And what it does is it improves your defense, it improves your terror defense, but it also, if you have terror, it clears the entire bar. There is a consumable item that you can use in order to do the exact same thing. I can't remember what it's called. Decaying Dust? Something like that? I can't remember. There you go. See, I just used the gourd, but you can get a consumable item for that too, and I think the consumable item is actually better. I think it lasts longer than the gourd does. But again, I mean, the gourd serves its purpose. It's reusable, you can refill it. You don't really need it for very often. I mean, even if you're just in regular new game, you only need it for the Shichiman warriors, the Headless Warriors, and this monkey fight. I guess you could use it for the Terror Monkeys, but I mean, they're Terror Monkeys, who cares? I mean the small ones, not obviously Headless Ape. But yeah, but it's really useful to have. If you're gonna go avoided by one thing, okay, that was a lie. That was an entire lie that I just said to you, I'm sorry. If you're gonna buy one thing, buy the gourd seeds from the merchants. If you're gonna buy two things, buy the gourd seeds, and then buy the Shinobi prosthetics that some of them have, or the items that they need in order to make this Shinobi prosthetics. And then if you're gonna buy three things, then buy the modeled purple gourd. And then if you also want, you can buy the green one and the red one. I've never used them. I don't really care about burn. I don't really care about poison too much either. But yeah. if I were to rank them, I'd go Terror, Poison, Burn. Because they're a lot more likely to get Terror to death, because if that bar kills you, you instantly die, which is terrible and annoying. And then Poison, really likely to get poisoned, and that lasts longer. And then Burn. Yeah, Burn does damage, and it fills up pretty fast, but at the same time, it doesn't deal tons of damage to you, so it's easy to deal with. Again, this boss fight is just long, because whenever you get too close, then he's just going to throw his head out and do the terror attack. So just try to get around behind him, and that way you at least, it's not like a perfect circle. The front goes, the area from the front is a lot larger than the back. So generally, if you can get around behind him when he does his yell, it's a lot easier to get out of the range of his terror AoE. Yep, more terror AoE. It's just an annoying fight. And then, see, even when he does his spins, just he's so mobile in a large arena that it just makes it more difficult to just get your attacks. Which is, I'm sure there's a prosthetic that makes it a lot easier. No clue what it is. I haven't really cared enough to check, but I'm sure if you are having a lot of trouble, just check which Shinobi prosthetic you should be using for this fight, and then use it. But yes, here we go. He's dead. So we get the flower. Now this flower is part of two that we are going to need. We need the flower and we need the wedding stone. And there's two ways to get to the stone area, I believe. And we're just going to take this route because we need to go this way anyway. We need to go get the dried serpent heart, so we're going to go get the dried serpent heart. This is necessary. This is a necessary item that we need for the dragon ending. The reunification, the unification, I don't remember what it's called, the dragon ending. So first we're going to go back to, because you, as far as I can tell, I don't know if it's actually true or not. It's possible there's a vertical thing I've never found, but I don't think you can get out of that ape arena using grapple. I just don't think it's possible. I've tried, and I've personally never figured out how to do it. It's possible you can, I don't have it. So you have to teleport out to back to the idol that's above it. So because I was going to do that anyway, I just went back to the inner sanctum first, got another thing of rice from her, and then I'm going to consume the rice. And then I'm going to jump down into the Poison Valley. You'll notice that there's another old lady there, and you can give her rice if you want, if you need a hint. Though, I mean, it's not necessary. So yeah, we're just going to quickly run through this Poison Valley. The other way to get there is through the abandoned dungeon. And then you can jump through the Torii Gate, fall for, like 5 seconds, and then grapple out there and climb. But this way goes the exact same way, plus this way lets you get the item that we need. So we're going to run past the snake and all the shadow creature things. And again, this is the only reason why I keep Puppeteer on my bar non-stop, because, well, you need it to complete the snake serpent heart things, the dried one and the fresh one. So we just run, and we're going to drop, and then we're going to jump and climb, and there's going to be a single monkey here, and we're going to Puppeteer him. Just like we did with the kite guy, we're just going to Puppeteer him. He's going to go off, and he's going to annoy the snake, so the snake's going to attack him and not us. And we're just going to wait for our opportunity and run right through. There we go, monkey's being a dick. And we go teleport. It is entirely possible that you can still get hit when you do that. I've had it happen to me, but again, as long as your health is full, you'll only take off like 95%. So here's another annoying vertical look that you need to look perfectly in order to find it. Gamers don't look up. True fact. And there, now we're in the Ashina depths. Now this will lead us towards where we need to go. And this is also one of the most annoying areas in the entire game. There are 3 mortar cannon guys and an Ashina, or not Ashina, is it Ashina? Fang-dyed Ashina or something? Fang-eye something. So anyway, here we go, we're just going through. Goal here is to stealth kill that one, then jump and sneak, but because I'm bad, it's Snake Eyes Shirahagi or whatever, I done goofed. I should have been sneaking earlier. She sees me, starts attacking me. I go, this sucks. And I'm just gonna try to deal with the other two guys before I try to fight her. Now, luckily this one's pretty easy. I can still stealth kill him. And then my goal is to try to stealth kill the third one. But first I'm like, you know what, I'm here. I've already screwed this whole thing up. You know, I'm just gonna activate the other sculptor idol. Literally no reason to do this. Just don't go get this idol. I don't know why I did. Because I'm dumb. This is the entrance. This is the other entrance for if you go in through the abandoned dungeon. You drop down and I think you end up here. There's a hole in the roof just further up. And I'm pretty sure it brings her here. Now, I'm not resting or anything. But I thought maybe if I ran away she wouldn't notice me anymore. That's a lie. She's going to immediately shoot at me and I'm going to cry. Yeah, there she goes, shooting at me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try to stealth kill that third guy and then I'll be on my merry way. Unfortunately, grapples are dumb and hard to control. So instead, I have to do this long, drawn-out fight now. Having to go through two health bars on her. Now, I'd recently seen a video, me dying. I'd recently seen a video where it was said that you can puppeteer her, and then she'll help you with the Headless Ape fight. And I was like, oh man, that sounds kind of interesting. I wanted to see if I can do that. Spoilers, I don't get to do that because, well, I screwed up the entire thing. So I don't know if that's true, or if it works well or not. I just don't have any idea. And now I'm here in the fight with her. So, biggest annoyance with her right now is, one, her shots are going to hit me, regardless of what happens really. Like, as in, like, her powered up attacks go through my shield, unless my block, unless I believe I manage perfect deflection, which is a bit annoying. But more importantly, having her, like, being a ranged attacker and having her back off into the poison is just really annoying, because it slows you, and of course then you're going to get poisoned. But the big one is that it just slows you. So she just stands there and you just can't, your mobility is just garbage. So you'll see me backing up a lot and just kind of like running away because I don't want to deal with her and the freaking poison. And the only other reason why I made sure to kill the mortar guys first is I've had a lot of instances where I try to fight her in the corner where that fog wall is, and they just lob their attacks straight over it and just hit you and just ruin your day. And yeah, they hit her too, but you take way more damage, and it's just an annoyance. It's a really it bugs me. I think it's poorly designed to have all three of them here for that. So yeah, so I'm just running away and hiding behind this thing because, again, I want her to get out of the poison. And I just quickly, want this over with. But instead I'm just getting ruined beyond belief. It's almost like sometimes these mini-bosses are harder than the actual bosses. So yeah, I'm constantly just rotating myself in order to try to push her back towards the middle of this little island, because anytime she goes into that poison, it's just the worst. The other downside is, of course, by playing this way, like I said, and this is mini bosses or regular bosses, what have you, anytime you start backing up on them, if their health is, still relatively full, their posture bars are just going to go all back to zero. And then you're essentially just doing the fight via health bars. Because no matter what ends up happening, by the time you get their health bars down to like zero, even if their health bar was, or if their posture bar is at nothing when they're at, like a quarter health left, by the time you get their health to zero from that quarter left, their posture bar is going to be completely ruined anyway. So either you're super aggressive in getting their posture bar completely filled with them at still like a quarter health, or you're pretty much just doing a fight where you're getting their health to zero, and by default then their posture bar is going to be at zero as well. Or full, not zero, but 100. But yeah, Snake Eyes, probably the most annoying. I have read that Saibimaru, the prosthetic poison, is really effective against her, but I didn't feel like equipping it because I don't do because I'm bad. But anyway, she died. Took way longer than I wanted. I died more times than I wanted to. Cost me all 10 of my gourds, but that's fine. Now we can just continue on our merry way. Backstab this deck so we don't get hit as we run across. And we're just going to go straight run for the next boss, which is the Headless Ape. And that's the entire reason why because this is all bosses, I wanted to make sure I had the Mortal Blade before I went in for this, before I went to go get the stone, the Wedding Stone. So the ape's there. Generally, his first attack when he's doing that is generally going to be a ZL. It's not entirely the case. I have had him swipe at me first, but it's usually a ZL. And then you just do a fight. Like, it's the regular fight for the first half. I will say I'm generally more conservative when it comes to the first half of the fight, just because I want to save my health potions, or my gourds, for when... I want to save the gourds for when his mate shows up. You're going to see my technique, air quotes, when it comes to the mate showing up is absolute garbage. Like, it's terrible. I pretty much spent the entire fight just running away from everyone. That's because I had one instance where I decided to risk for Bisque and rush in to just finish off the mate quickly. And this is much like when it comes to the jump attacks. It is the finisher attacks are also really finicky. Like, I've had a lot of instances where I just start spamming attacks to try to get the finisher to happen, and it doesn't. So I ran up to try to do the finisher on the mate, was slamming it, nothing was happening, and then the Headless Ape just came through and killed me. And I was like, just perfect. So I'm at the point where I just, take my time. I don't care if it looks stupid, if it takes a bit longer. I'm just going to sit there and just try to wait for the perfect opportunity before, so that I can kill the mate and get the finisher on her without worrying about the Headless Ape coming in and just murdering me. So here's where I do the dumbest thing ever, which is quite literally throw every shuriken I have at the mate. This is really, I could say, the only boss fight where I use a Shinobi prosthetic, and it's just not, like, you end up breaking her posture a lot with it, but I don't care. I just want to ruin her health bar beyond belief, so I just smash her over and over with as many shurikens as I can. So it usually gets rid of, like 9/10 of her health-ish. And then you'll have to hit her a couple more times before you can get in a finisher. The only problem is trying to find out the time to get in those hits without this freaking Headless Ape coming in as well. And I say that, but even the mate herself, like, because she's, I don't like the apes. I don't like their attacks. I'm just not good at them. I'm sure there's a way better way to fight them, but I'm just not confident in them. So I just wait for the opportunity, and I mean that's the way it works for any Souls game, even Sekiro. If you ever checked online for, I don't know, like final boss fights or something, Sekiro's especially, it's there the mate's dead, now it's back to normal fight. But for the final boss, the final Isshin fight for Sekiro, they always say, just prompt him to do his jump spear attack, and then just go behind him and hit him, and you can just do that for the entire fight. Like, maybe like people are like, that's cheese, but no, that's essentially how every single one of these fight works. You find an attack that they do that you're comfortable, counterattacking with, or going in and attacking once he's finished that attack, and then you repeat. And the only question is, how many of these attacks are you comfortable with? So, if, when it comes to Isshin, you're only comfortable with that one attack, like getting hits in on him with that one attack, well then, fine. That's fine. And then if while you're fighting like that, you find another attack you're also comfortable with, well then now you can do two attacks that you want to, be able to counterattack with. And that's completely fine. I mean, that's generally how it's just going to go. Like for the ape, my most comfortable attack for getting, even if it's just one hit in, is when he does his terror yell, which is I go in behind him, and then when he comes in, I smack him in the butt once or twice. When he uses wild ape form, the easiest one to get the hit in, there are a couple. One when he does like his forward fall with the sword, as long as you get in behind him when he's falling, you get some good hits in. When he throws poop at you, when he lands, you can get some good free hits in. When he does his big jump grab, that's a good one to get a couple hits in. Like, you just find ways to do it, because for me personally, the proper air quote way to do it, which would be, parrying his sword slices, I'm just not good at it, and I don't find them consistent enough for me to be able to do it properly. It generally ruins my posture bar way too fast. So I don't really deal with posture when it comes to fighting the apes. Which is why I consider them my worst fight, because I'm not, using the mechanics to their fullest in order to get the benefits of it. So anyway, we got past them. We're heading into the Mist Village. Gotta kill the Mistborn Noble. Super easy, like it's barely an inconvenience. Ha! References. This is me attempting to jump on trees and failing and getting scared because now I'm like, oh god, I fell, I don't know how to get up, and I don't know where the freaking vertical climb ways are. And there's a headless guy right below me, and God forbid I get stuck in this stupid fog that causes me to be unable to run. So there, just properly did it, grapple to the tree, run across, and now we're just going to run straight there. The freaking, Jenzou the Drunkard or whatever is there. Don't know why. It's like the third, you have to fight him like 3 freaking times. 2 of them are mandatory if you're going all bosses, but so this one I'm not gonna fight him. There's just, again, there's no point. Why would I want to fight, 6 monkeys and Jinzo when the reward for fighting them is nothing? There's no reason. So just run past, continue on your merry way, and get ready for, the actual good boss fight, which is the Corrupted Monk. Now, the cheese way or whatever that exists for the monk is, I think, like throwing fistfuls of ashes. But again, I've never done it. Don't know how well it works here on New Game Plus 4. Pretty much all my New Game Plus 4 bosses are just going to be swords. But yes, we're going to go. Mistborn Noble, stab him in the back. Then we're just going to stab him in the front. Man, that was hard. What a hard boss. Man. So freaking difficult. And we're going to go straight down into the scary city. The city of zombies. Ooh, spooky. That was pure luck, by the way. Totally thought I was just going to land and hurt myself, which I just did right there. But I managed to land on that tree branch somehow, so thank you. Thank you, trees, for having no hitboxes. So this place, is annoying, spooky. First time you go through, they constantly pop out of the ground and come back and get you. Gyoubu Village, there we go, that's what it's called. Thank you. Thank you, game, for telling me where I am. And we're just going to run through it all. We don't care. And there's the bell guy, who makes me sad. And there's me getting trapped there and screwing up and falling into the lake. Even better. And once again, here's the... no. Yep, one day I'll be able to jump out of the lake somehow. Yep. How is that spot any different from this spot? I don't know, but I could jump up that one and not the previous ones. I don't know. That's again, as I said, perfect roll right through. Thank you. One of my minor gripes with the game is that you just never know why you can jump up on some areas with double jump and you can't do it through the others. They just won't let you up. And you can't grab those edges. So, whatever. So here's probably one of the best mini-bosses in the game that we're not going to fight, which is like Ogre of the Water. She's really interesting. She's mostly a deflection fight. The best way to kill her is to just deflect most of her stuff and jump on her. Again, we don't need to fight her. There is a side quest associated with her. yeah. We're gonna hit the corrupted monk. Spooky ghosts and stuff. So this is especially one of the fights where I wish that I was overall more confident when it comes to the sweep attacks and jumping. Again, as I've mentioned many times, when it comes to the jumping away from those attacks that you can't block, I always hit a direction, so you'll always see me jump to the left or right, pretty far away from them. I wish I was more confident in consistently, not doing that, so I could get the benefits of jumping on top of their head to break their posture that way. And I'm sure eventually I will be, but it's just one of those things you need to be conscious of when you're going through if that's something you want to do. Because at the end of the day, generally when it comes to a lot of this stuff, I would much rather just, do the safe thing to make sure I'm going to get through it than, do the slightly risky thing. Like, for instance, the one thing that you'll see me do the most is the Mikiri counter, because I honestly think the Mikiri counter is probably the best thing in the entire game. And if you can get your timings down on those attacks, like which ones of them are Mikiri counterable, and you can consistently get them, then you're fine. Like, you're golden. You'll do well. Like Owl Take 2, he has his attack, and honestly, his Mikiri counterattack is probably one of the easiest things in the game in order to get a free hit. Same thing with the final boss. Mikiri counter, one of the best ways to do it in the entire game. So yeah, Corrupted Monk. Generally, because of the way I'm fighting her, which is, just the way I prefer to fight. I really like the sword play in this game. But it generally makes, on the whole, the Corrupted Monk as a fight a health fight rather than a posture fight. The true Corrupted Monk is a lot easier to do posture with, or at least I thought so. Or maybe I'm just having a rough fight here. But on the whole, generally Corrupted Monk is more of a health fight than a posture bar fight, at least for me. Just because, as you can see, her posture bar goes down so quickly. And she's at like 66% of her health, and still it goes down so fast. Now, if you were deciding if you wanted to go for, the Shura Ending, the Shura Ending, this is pretty much your last boss, or second last boss right here. So the game would pretty much be over, and you could just finish the game in, like an hour or some garbage, just because you don't have, like, so much of the stuff that I did, or that we did earlier, is irrelevant. All the times I went to visit the Divine Child for rice, don't need to do it. All that time for the book, don't need to do it. But again, that's why the Shura Ending isn't really considered, the real ending, because you lose about a third of the game that way. At least I think it's a third, I don't know. Mikiri counter. And again, do it again. Nope. I would say this is just one of the longest bosses. The only one that I would say is longer is probably Demon of Hatred. There we go. My least favorite boss is Demon of Hatred. It's just an annoyance. I'm not a... It's like everything that I dislike about, the Headless Ape, or the ape fights, and they ramp it up to 11. But anyway, we got through. That actually wasn't that bad. We managed to do posture damage while she still had about a third of her health left. But we got past it, we got through it. Gonna go grab the stone. And we're on our way. So this is generally the point where, again, where you're going to end up getting to the sculptures, and you're going to find out that all of your Ashina Castle stuff's gone. And you're like, oh, that sucks, wah. But first we're just going to go to, the previously gotten sculptor idol, which is where we took the kite, because now we're just going to go kill the Great Serpent. See, now, what I should have done at this point is this is when I should have done Sempo Temple and then done the puppeteer thing to do the kite, because then I wouldn't have essentially done the backtracking. But again, it's not the biggest issue. So we're going to kill the snake. This will get us the fresh snake thing. I consider this a boss in the same way that the Great Carp was a boss, and that is not a boss at all. Like, it's just kind of a gimmick type thing. You don't get any souls or any experience for it. You don't really get anything for killing it. It doesn't really matter. But there we go. Snake's dead. We have the items that we need for the dragon ending. There's still some other stuff, like some more conversations we have to go through, but overall we're pretty much done with that now. We don't have to worry about it. And now our main concern is once again going to be just setting everything up for it. Oh, there is one exception. You need a persimmon. Now, there's multiple ways to get a persimmon. One of those ways is if you do Kotaro's quest line and you bring him to the Divine Halls of Illusion, you can get his persimmon that way. But a much easier way is in Sempo from the, I believe it's the cliff, like the cliff climb idol. If you, instead of going right and then climbing up the cliff that way, if you go left and you travel along the cliffs there, you can get to a merchant, and the merchant will just sell you 2 persimmons for, I don't remember how much cent. So anyway, give her a persimmon. She'll give you more rice, but she'll also give you rice for Kuro, and this is important because you have to give it to Kuro, and so he can make you a nice rice ball, which will make your tummy feel yummy. Or be yummy in your tummy. Something like that. I don't know. You have to eat it. You don't actually have to eat it, but it's better to eat it. For no reason aside from a single conversation line. But yeah, so you go back to Ashina Castle, and it's like, oh my god, it's all under attack. What are we going to do? And this is why I opened up the shortcut earlier. And we're in. It's one thing, we're just going to run past pretty much everything. We're going to see the guy running for his life. Oh my god, he's going to kill me. And here's where I jump over here and I look down and I'm like, oh wait, I opened up the shortcut just so I wouldn't have to swim through that. Perfect. So yeah, this is just run past the sculptor. The sculptor. The shortcut we opened, and this way we can just pretty much do a straight climb all the way through. Now here's where I believe, if you so desire, you can just climb straight up to Owl from here. But again, I don't really care. I'm gonna go get the safety sculptor, but it also means that by doing it this way, I need to kill another mini-boss. Not a big deal, but I mean, if you're super confident that you're never gonna die to him, then you don't have to. You can quite easily just skip this whole thing. Now that this idol here that I'm sitting at, if you look right, I'm just gonna run past him. But that one mob there, if you just go in and kill him, and then reset and just do that, that's the best farming spot for getting experience. Just kill that one mob over and over. As long as you're in like New Game Plus, you're gonna get like 3,000 XP per kill. It takes like a couple hours to get the full amount, but it's the easiest way to get XP. people say, you know, like if you get into the flaming Ashina and you do that back run, I don't believe it's faster. Now here, I end up puppeteering this guy. I don't recommend it. Honestly, just backstep him and kill him and just face this guy straight on. Because the problem with puppeteering is that even though technically he's your ally now, his attacks still hit you. So I'm constantly need to jump out of the way to make sure that my own guy's attacks aren't going to smash me. Because I've been hit by my own allies' attacks more times than I can count. It's just not worth it. So instead, just backstab and kill him, and then just fight this guy one-on-one. As long as you know his attack patterns and you're confident against him, it'll probably end even faster than this, where you're constantly coordinating. Like here, when I'm doing my attacks, I'm hitting my own ally and killing him, while simultaneously, you know, not being able to finish a complete combo against the mini boss that we're trying to kill. And there, I missed up a mechanic counter, which would have instantly gotten rid of him, but no. What can you do? There we go, one down, or half down. I mean, even if he does end up poisoning you, it's not the end of the world. I've never personally had, I don't think I've ever died from poison. It doesn't last, you know, super long, and the amount of damage it does to you isn't super significant. There we go, I succeeded a Makita counter right there. Good job, me. See, those attacks there, which he does more than, you know, the Mercury counterable attacks, I feel like that's another attack where I should be doing the double jump on him. But again, just the way that I do my jumps just doesn't lend to it. And there's me not expecting that guy to be there. He quite literally just scared the bejesus out of me, and I am not mentally equipped to fight him right now. And he just takes me out, full on. Not an embarrassing death at all. We're just going to quickly reset, get the idol, and then we can just run straight onto Owl. Not a big deal. Yeah, so here's where the first ending can come to be. You're going to talk to Owl, and you'll say, well, do you stick with Kuro, or do you stick with me? And you say, stick with Kuro. And then you'll fight Owl. Or sorry, if you want the ending, you say you stick with Owl. And then you just get, you know, one final boss fight and the game's over. And then there's your Shura ending. But we're not doing that, we're going for the other three. So instead we're just going to come straight on and face Owl. Easiest attacks to hit him on is, again, when he throws 2 kunai, or shurikens, or whatever the heck he throws and never looked at them, and then does his upward attack. Again, that's an easy attack to just hit. You just dodge it, and then hit. The other thing that I will say, and you'll see it happen a lot, and it looks like it's a crapshoot, but it really isn't, you swing faster than Owl does. Which means if you both swing at the exact same moment at each other, you will hit first and you will interrupt his swing. Unless he's doing, you know, an attack where for some reason he has more, like, he has so much poise that he can't end up, that he just goes, like, tanks through your hit. But for 99% of the stuff that he's going to do, if you're both swinging at the same time, you interrupt him first. And it's perfect. Also, I would say, so long as you're confident in, you know, your fight against him, who cares if he blocks your healing potions? You don't have to be afraid of having your health potions blocked, until you get to the point where, you know, you're one hit away from dying like I am right now, and yeah, and he could potentially kill you. Like, I will, you'll see me walk into the dust, or whatever the heck it is, a lot, just because it gets me essentially a free hit on Owl. Because if my health is, you know, still at full, what do I care if I can't access my medicine? I don't need to. My health is still full. But then once, you know, he hits you and then you're close to death, then it's suddenly, okay, I need to start fighting more, you know, I need to start fighting more conservatively and actually act afraid and, you know, be a lot more defensive than I normally would be, because I don't want to just die. But again, even if you do die, like, whatever, I have I currently have 3 resurrections. Yeah, so I just ran straight into a shuriken, whatever. I resurrected, not a big deal. His posture's nearly broken. There we go, it's broken, he's dead. I can heal again. He can heal, or he can start phase 2 now. A really annoying phase 2. He's in a really awkward position. Turns out you can't actually interrupt it with shuriken tosses. So you have to, haha, fooled you. I was going to keep fighting you regardless. What a dick. So see there, once again, that's his best attack for you to hit him with, when he throws 2 shurikens and then does that. Here, so long as you don't freak out, you're fine. Just spam, like, retarget in the smoke, and then you'll be able to target and block easy. Throws poison at you again. Poison, not a big deal. Like, it's more of a deal if he blocks your ability to heal, and then you also take poison, get poisoned, because then you're losing health and you can't heal it. But it shouldn't be a big deal. Again, so long as you're hitting targeting, doesn't matter. That's actually the perfect way for him to, like, obviously it was pretty much coincidence that it happened that way, but that is quite literally the best way for you to have your posture broken, is if you're, like, in the red, and you're worried that, you know, he's gonna kill you now because of your, because through your posture, but he kicks you instead. Not only does it push you away from his follow-up poison throw, but it resets your posture, so it's perfect. Yeah, smoke, overrated, is not scary, doesn't really do anything, you can always generally block it. That was actually shot for shot, which is quite rare. But again, not a big issue at all. Like, again, you can see, like, at this point in the fight, his health is already below half, so I'm not concerned about, you know, breaking his posture. Like, this isn't a fight that I'm gonna win with him at, you know, like, 2/3 of his health left, and I just posture him to death. So if he wants to use his skill to reduce the amount of posture damage he's taken, then fine by me. I wasn't good enough this fight. It's not a fight for if I can break his posture damage or not. It's literally just a fight of, well, I'm going to get rid of all of his health now. Also, I probably should have died there. I got really lucky that he decided to throw an anti-heal ball instead of trying to sword me. And yeah, there we go. Owl's dead. So sad. My own father. Sekiro, I am your father. But you're dead. So sad. So now the annoyance appears. So we're essentially at the point now where we're just setting up for purification, and we're also setting up finally for, the end of the dragon ending, the reunification ending or whatever. And it's at this point, when I go to start it all off, that I figure out, oh great, somehow during that stupid owl fight, the walls broke. Perfect. So I can't do my eavesdrop right away. So instead, I'm just going to start all the conversations that I can, and the problem with this is that we're just going to end up in a weird situation where all the conversations are going to be mixed in together for purification as well as dragon ending. So I gave him the rice, and now I've soft-locked it until I rest, and I haven't realized that because I'm dumb. So he's like, oh yeah, wait and see. I just gotta wait and see for my rice. And I'm like, okay, great, thanks, dude. This is another one where I'm not entirely sure of stuff, and I thought some things would happen, some wouldn't, and I thought maybe resting would fix it, but it doesn't, and I thought maybe if I teleported away through the Shinobi Castle thing, because it's a bit of a loading screen, maybe this would fix it, but it doesn't. So, pretty much, if you're worried about character progression, all you gotta do is rest, and it should reset everything. However, if the wall is broken like it is for me, you actually have to teleport away to have it fix itself, otherwise it won't fix itself. And it's just a whole fiasco. Also, you see me walking to a wall because it turns out, funny story, that at this point I was trying to charge my phone, so I was plugging my phone into charge, and so I just ended up walking to a wall. Yeah, see, that what I thought was going to be a loading screen didn't count, didn't fix anything. And it also didn't fix this stupid thing with Kuro. So going through that Shinobi passageway doesn't actually do anything. It's a waste of my time and your time. So I'm going to screw this. I'm just going to teleport away and teleport back. That'll fix the wall for eavesdropping. And it will also, by default, count as a rest, which will reset the characters. Which is, again, one of the annoyances of Sekiro over, Dark Souls. So much resting / walking back, talking, and trying to do a bunch of eavesdrop criteria and what have you. So now the wall's fixed, we can finally go back and we're gonna go eavesdrop. The problem is that the eavesdrop conversations that we're first getting here are the ones from when we first beat Genichiro, which was all that wild time ago. And I'm like, that's fine, let's just do the conversations, it's all good. And he gives me a rice ball. Now you can eat the rice ball right in front of him, and you'll get a bit of extra dialogue, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to eat the rice ball, and he'll say, thank you very much, you are the best. And I go, you're welcome. You're also a dick. So, yeah, we're just going to rest, reset, continue on. So this is still just Genichiro, and this whole segment is generally just going to be running to the sculptor, or the sculptor's idol, sitting, resting, going back, and just eavesdropping again. The message that you're looking for is one where he talks about how he, whenever he says what must be done. But unfortunately, as you can see here, Eavesdrop conversations are done. You need to talk to him in person again about, what all is going to be done. Now, I'm pretty sure he's giving me pages for the flower that you need to get, as well as the wedding rock. But, surprise, I already have them. So, finish off those conversations. They're irrelevant and pointless. You're going to go back to him. He's going to tell you to put it all into the incense and burn the incense. And so just keep talking to him until to do that. And then he's going to cut himself with your blade. And all this stuff, it's impossible to miss it. You must do this to progress the story. I think. Yes. Yes? Maybe. No, I'm pretty sure you do. But yeah, so he sends you everywhere. He tells you to go to Emma, and he's like, oh, Emma knows how to do the blood or something, so go talk to her. So you talk to her some more. She gives you a piece of paper saying it was, cut it with the mortal blade. And then you're going to go back to Kuro, and he's going to be like, okay, I'm going to cut myself with the mortal blade. And you're just going to sit there and go, this is really tedious. Now I'm burning incense. Good for me. Aren't I special? To which the answer is yes, you are very special. So he does the cutscene where he cuts himself, and he goes, oh, okay, I'm cool, fine, everything's hunky-dory, and now you should be able to go back and eavesdrop on the conversation some more. The whole goal is, as I said, we have to get to the point where Kuro is going to whisper what must be done, and then when you rest, Emma's going to disappear. And when she disappears, she's going to be up the stairs. So that's the goal that we need in order to progress the purification ending. The rice balls had to do with the dragon ending, and this one here is our purification ending. So we're going to talk to Emma. She's going to give us a piece of paper. We're going to rest again. We're going to come back. She's going to say, oh, I have to go to the grave. So then we're going to go to the grave idol. And then we're going to talk to her there again. She's going to say, I have to go see the sculptor. And then you're going to go to the sculptor. And here's where I messed up on my first run-through. Because I went for the dragon ending the first time through, but I also wanted to do all bosses like I'm doing here. So I'd managed to get myself all the way to the sculptor. And then I got to talk to Emma, and she was all like, oh, hey, dude, like, no, this is all a dead end. There's nothing we can do here. Sorry. And I thought I'd hard-locked it, and I couldn't progress the purification ending. And then I read online that you're supposed to listen to an eavesdrop behind the sculptor and Emma, and I'd missed that, and that was the thing that was stopping me. So we're going to do that here, so no one's going to miss out on anything, where everything's going to be done. And then when you get to the end of the game, you can choose out of all three which one you want to do. So, gravestone. Sure, grab the droplet, why not? No harm in taking it. We're not going to be curing any dragon rot, though, because we don't care. And talk to her, she's going to be all, go to the sculptor, and then we're going to travel to the sculptor. And don't worry, because we still have to do a bunch of stuff for the Divine Child, too, for the dragon ending, because we have not, I believe, given her the fresh serpent stuff yet. So we don't even have to talk to her right away. We can just straight go behind to eavesdrop, which is what we're gonna do. Just, oh, eavesdrop. Oh no, he has to die. One of them has to die. Oh, so sad. Wah. We don't care. Then we're gonna talk to her, which she gives us our pointless dragon rot conversation that we don't care about. And then we forgot to press the dialogue option, so we go back in. There it is. And then, what are you hiding from me, woman? And the answer is, she's hiding a bell. The father's bell. Which means that we can now get access to the part 2 boss of Owl. Spoilers. So we're going to go do that. Now, killing Owl gets you, I believe, the Ever Blossom, which is what you need for a purification ending. So, all 3 endings require you to have the Dragon Divine Tears, or whatever it's called. And then it's just a matter of which ending you want. You just need to mix it with something. So for purification, you mix it with the Ever Blossoms, which is what we're getting here, and the other one, it's the Cold Tears or whatever of the Divine Child. And I ran past that mini boss. No reason to fight it. I do have to go the long way here because those guys are behind me. It's better if they don't follow you, and then you can just immediately go through that little hallway and hide. But I'm gonna just do the long way because I don't want to trigger them. But yeah, and then we have to fight, Jenzou the Drunkard again for the third time. Now, I do keep crouching here because there are a bunch of those really annoying purple robe ninjas on the roof. And I made the mistake once of running straight out from underneath the patio. And they saw me and chased after me, and that was just a whole kerfuffle. So I'm going to wait till I reach the water, then I'm going to start running. Now, I've personally never made it to stealth kill anyone here, so I don't. So I'm just going to try to get as many free hits as possible, and I'm going to try to run away, kill all the mobs, because of course the mobs are really annoying, and I immediately get murdered, which is fine. Like, it's not a big deal. So come back to life. There we go. I'm alive, and I'm going to run away, heal. Now, this is just lame / cheesy. I'm sure if there is a sword art that could make this a lot easier, I couldn't care less. Pretty much right here is like the limit of their aggro range, so then they'll start backing up. So you can just pretty much kite the ninja towards you while Jinzo backs off, and then you can kill the ninja, and then just you can go straight into Jinzo, and it's not even an issue. Or Juzo, I don't know, whatever his name is. So you can just kill the ninja, don't really have to worry. There we go. And now we're just going to run past and go kill the rest of the mobs that are there, because mobs are annoying. And then we can just focus straight on the fight. It's not an interesting fight. If you've, gone for all the prayer beads in a previous playthrough, you've ended up fighting him like 3 times. The only reason to fight that previous mini-boss is if you don't have all the prayer beads at this point, because you do need to kill him to get a prayer bead. He's also a really annoying fight, in which shurikens are actually useful, because he will just infinitely spawn dogs if he whistles. So you want to kill that previous guy in the flaming room, and anytime he backs off and looks like he's going to whistle, you just hit him with a shuriken to interrupt him. Yeah, Jinzo, boring fight. I'm probably going to get hit way more than I should, but, I mean, got a ton of gourds. Couldn't care less about this guy. He just spits poison at you, makes you sad. I guess being directly in front of that doesn't hit you. I don't know, baffling. Standing straight in the stream, you'd think it hits you full on, but guess not. Hits like a truck though, but I mean, everything hits like a truck, so what's it matter? If you're really confident in just constantly deflecting and not worrying about having your posture broken, I guess you could do that. Throw some shurikens because I can. Again, I don't really care about shinobi prosthetics, sword arts, any of that stuff. I don't really use it. I just throw shurikens for fun. Because it is fun. Throwing the shurikens is tons of fun. But all my major damage for all the bosses that you're going to see is just full-on sword. There, halfway done. This is a fight where I don't really posture break, as it were. I'm pretty much just doing full health kills. And I'm now officially out of res. What will I do against this mini-boss? That moment when you're worse at mini-bosses than you are at actual bosses. Oh no, poison grossness. Well, I mean, I personally prefer poison over vomit, but what do I know? these fights take forever. But yeah, the easiest thing to do is just, again, get behind him. I get really greedy with my attacks, because again, I couldn't care less about what he does. Like, he's slow. I mean, he hits like a truck, but again, he's still slow, so it's not like you're super dangerous. Like, again, there he is dead. Oh man, I managed to break his posture literally a hit before his health ran out. Like, what a scary thing to have happen. And again, reward is just money, which again, you'll have more money than you know what to do with. There's really not much you need to buy. If for some reason you want to kill, you know, every Headless and every Shichiman warrior at the start of every playthrough, then just spend all your money on Divine Confetti. That's really what you need to do. And of course, this stupid Shinobi Hunter followed me in because he's a dink. So we're just going to try to kill him. And of course, the God Archer has been shooting us from across the map. Well, there's a dog barking. Perfect. So now, people say the hardest boss in the game. I wouldn't say the hardest boss. I'd say the hardest boss, for me personally, is Demon of Hatred. That boss is just straight up annoying. Though the hardest boss for me to learn was probably the last boss. But yeah, so there's Al. You can talk to him more if you know he's just a dink. You can already start by straight on attacking him. He's pretty much the same almost as you know, the first time you fight him, only a bit faster, which turns out a bit better. Now that attack that he's done on me twice already, I've screwed up both times. I forgot when I was doing this fight, which is dumb of me, but my brain just wasn't feeling it at the time. When he does that double overhand, you have enough time to hit him twice with your sword and then sidestep to avoid it. Because if you sidestep like I did both those times too early, he will transition from not doing that attack that opens him up to a hit, and instead will do that side twirl, which you can still block, but you know, whatever. But the thing is that you can either stand in front of him and then at the last minute dodge to the side and then get some free hits on him, or you can hit him twice and then sidestep and then hit him on the free attacks that he opens himself up to. You saw me do the Mikiri counter a couple times there. Honestly, he's one of the ones where the best thing to do is to get the Mikiri counter. It's a bit difficult to get when he's so close. Because again, as you saw, I did my, I dodged past him that second time. It's a bit rare for him to do it. It's a lot more common in the second phase because he'll throw a giant flame phoenix at you and then he will, and then you'll do it. And so the easiest way I find to get it is to be further back because you can see him coming at you so you can time it easily. Especially with the way I do it, which again is by pressing towards him and then pressing B as opposed to just not moving my directional stick. But I mean, as long as you stay calm, it's not really a hard fight. The hardest part of the fight, honestly, I believe, is when he does throw that fistful of exploding powder and then follows up with a slash right there. Yeah, that's the hardest one for me to avoid personally. My timings aren't the best on it. They're not super consistent. Now, I've cut out about 3 minutes of footage here. I died one more time when fighting him. Unfortunately, when I was fighting him, the game decided to freeze on me, and then my recording software crashed. It's the first time I've ever had this happen. So pretty much the footage was unusable. It wasn't an interesting fight because the fight was literally frozen half the time while I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on. So you're not missing much, but I did die one more time to him before this came up again. So I've died twice. Though that second time wasn't my fault. I literally couldn't do anything because my screen was frozen. I mean, he was frozen too. It's a single-player game. But there you go. When I was mentioning earlier about how if you wait for him to do it, you can get past him. Perfect. Though I didn't do the 2 slashes beforehand because I'm dumb. You'll notice he still does the 2 kunai throw, then the spin smash, which is really easy to dodge and super easy to take advantage of. I don't care super much about maintaining my posture pretty low, mostly because I don't really find his he doesn't really punish it. Like, he punishes it pretty hard in the first owl fight. In this one, he doesn't punish it that badly. So I'm not as worried with having a high posture bar filled. Whereas in the first fight, I was definitely more concerned. And of course I got punished for it immediately right there. And just got face stabbed. Perfect. But yeah, this is a fight where it really helps you out to be more aggressive. Because so long as you're feeling comfortable in the attacks that he's going to do, because again, much like the first owl fight, if you both swing at the same time, you hit first. So you're actually faster than him, which is really nice. I don't really know why he did a lunge there with Mikiri counter. He did it in the space of, I don't know, 5 feet into a wall, so good for him. But yeah, you swing faster than him, so it's actually a lot easier to, once you deflect his attack, to you attack him right back, and then once he deflects, you immediately deflect once again, and eventually one of them is going to break. And generally he breaks first, or he transitions into an attack that you can take advantage of. Yeah, you'll notice that it's not really by design what I'm doing there, but when I had him trapped in the corner, and you had the red flash pop up, it's because he can do a side attack. But again, when he shows up, it's one of those situations where if you hit him when he goes to do that, and the natural flow of the fight is you immediately counterattacking once you've deflected him, then you'll just go to naturally do an attack and you'll interrupt him, so it stops it. And now we're in phase 2, which is a fine phase, I guess. It's annoying that he gets grabbed by the owl and disappears a lot, and then pops back in. So anytime he gets picked up by the owl, I just run away. I try to keep him in my camera view so I can see when he pops out, and then I run towards him and try to do a running attack on him. Doesn't always work, doesn't really matter, because it's not like he punishes you super hardly for what you're doing. Proceeds to punish me hardly for doing that, but that's fine. But yeah, there's nothing really super new. The only things that's new, aside from the owl flying around, as far as I can tell, the owl doesn't actually hurt you. Just picks him up every now and then, so he disappears. But the other one is when he grabs the owl and makes it like a fiery phoenix and throws it at you, and I just jump to avoid it. Super easy. And then I just try to punish it with a Mikiri counter on, because he'll throw it and then immediately do his like wind lunge, which you can Mikiri counter. Yeah, see, there he goes. So I just try to stay pretty far back, so I have a lot of room for timing out my Mikiri counter, and then I just do it. Again, I believe that's the hardest attack. It's hard to get my timing to dodge past him on it. Heck, even like that one right there, I essentially just stepped right into him and didn't get hit, and it turned out fine. Whereas the previous one, well, it didn't turn out super well. And there's me doing my poor Mikiri counter, where I actually ended up stepping past him rather than actually performing a Mikiri counter. There he throws, again, throwing the Flaming Phoenix, just jump it, and then Mikiri counter immediately. And then, yeah, every time he does the side slash, just jump it. His when he jumps and puts his foot on you in his first iteration, as well as in this one, it doesn't do any damage to you. It does harm your posture bar a bunch, but it doesn't actually hurt you. So if you don't end up deflecting it or anything, it's completely fine. It doesn't matter. And then just know that the follow-up shuriken or kunai or whatever he's throwing does, even if you mess that one up too, doesn't super matter. It doesn't do much. Good, and there's Owl Part 2. So now you get the Everblossom, so you are 100% done setting up for the Purification ending. So if all you care about is Purification, this is all you got to do. There you go. Go beat the game. You're done. Unfortunately, we still have to do a bunch of... Well, I say a bunch of stuff, but it's not that bad for Dragon Ending. Which just involves talking. I think we have to go get one more item from a corpse. So we're just going straight on into Senpu Temple. Talk to her. Talks about rice, because thank God for rice, I guess. And now we can... rest, I guess? I guess we have to rest. A lot of this is just resting and resetting. If you feel like you've got yourself stuck somehow, just rest and reset. You'll see now that she's disappeared. Oh my gosh, where did she go? Well, she's back in the Halls of Illusion. So now we have to transport ourselves to the Halls of Illusion, which the entrance is just behind us. We're going to run there. She's going to be sitting there, and she's going to say, I want to know something or other about something, so go get me the book. You're going to be like, okay, I'll go get you a book. So now we're going to go back to the Senpu Temple main hall, or whatever it is. I think it's the main hall. And once we reach that, we're just going to run outside, and behind the temple is a cave. And you're just going to run through the cave. And then if my memory is correct, you're going to reach the cave, get the book, give the book to the Divine Child, and then she's going to say, I need the serpent bits, and then you're going to give her the serpent bits. And then, aside from a couple more conversations, you're essentially done that path too. Just perfect. Yeah, so we're just running down the cave, avoiding everyone because it doesn't matter. There are more of those Centipede guys all around who like to throw fire at you. And you're going to turn around and you have to go into the water, because if you end up running through, you just get a shortcut back to where you just came from. So just grab a balloon, because why not? Super helpful. All those balloons that I've used so far. I will say it's annoying that there's a balloon for everything, but there isn't a balloon for increasing how much XP you get per kill. Yeah, so there's the book, just sitting on him. And because gamers don't look up, make sure you look up to grapple away. Get to the super secret hidden temple here with super secret, super important items inside. Spoilers, it's not an important item. It's a irrelevant item that I'm never going to use. Perfect, good. And now we're just going to leave. We're going to go back to the inner sanctum, because if I'm right, she's left the Halls of Illusion once again. You can give her the book. Again, this is like doing the endgame stuff for Sekiro is just a lot of sitting and resetting, and it's tedious is the word. It's not, I mean, if you care about the plot, it's, not terrible, but it's essentially just a giant fetch quest. Whereas, I mean, in Dark Souls 3 they kind of had something like that, but at the very least, at least you fought a boss to get to the other Firelink Shrine, and then all you had to do is pick up a pair of eyes, and then you could give them back to the Firekeeper. So anyway, you give her the book. She's all like, oh man, you gave me a book, thanks pal. And then I believe you give her the hearts or whatever, and she eats them and is all, this is gonna suck, and she's in a lot of pain. And you're like, well, that sucks too. Sorry that you just prepared yourself as the cradle. And then you rest once again, doors are open again. Go talk to her, and she's been transformed. Ooh, spooky. But yeah, so then she's going to give you her cold tears, and now we have the item that we need for purification ending, and we have the item that we need for dragon ending. So the only thing left to do now is to actually continue along and play the game. So, we're off to next is we're going to go back to the Sunken Valley Wedding Cave, and we're going to go into the Divine Realm. Because the Divine Realm is divine. Where they steal your energy and turn you into an old man who walks with his sword as a crutch. So we're going to go back in the Palanquin, which isn't the first time for us. If you recall, that's how we fooled the snake, stabbed it in the eye, and then stabbed it from the top of the head later on. Perfect. Go us. Go team. Yeah. So we're going to get picked up by a giant wicker rope thing that's going to walk us to the Divine Realm. And here we are. So, next boss up is the True Corrupted Monk again, but this time the real one. And she's more annoying because she has 3 health bars as opposed to the 1, but you also deal more damage to her because she's no longer like a spiritual entity. It used to be that if you used a sugar or something, you could hide from her, go up into the trees, and then kill her, like get a silent stab on her, or a jumping kill or whatever it's called. Stealth kill, that's the word. Words are hard. But they patched that out. But you can do it on the second one, and I do it on the second one, so you'll see me doing that. But the first time through, like, again, you don't have to if you don't want to. You can fight all 3, all 3 stages. My first time through the game, I fought all 3 stages because I didn't even know you could do that. The only thing that Phase 2 does, which is even at all different from Phase 1, is she'll disappear every now and then, and essentially create 3 ghosts of herself that will attack and then jump attack at you. I'm sure if you use consumables, snapping peas would do something. I assume. Don't know. Never used one in my life. I just run away. So I run down the bridge and then I just grapple through the trees. And by then they're done. Like they've disappeared. And then you just go back to fighting her normally until she disappears again and repeat. Yeah, so her first phase is down, and I'm just going to go hide in the trees. Gonna be all stealthy. Like, haha, and then, oh, surprise. Surprise kill. Good, now stage 3. Pretty much the same as, stage 1 and 2. The only difference now is that there's a gross centipede out from her head, and it will spew vomit at us every now and then. And when I say every now and then, I mean over and over and over again, because it's her favorite move to do. There's me almost jumping to my death. Good job, me. Way to stay on the path. Yep, there's the vomit. Yep. But just spin around to the side. Doesn't really matter. Just avoid it. And even if you don't avoid it, it does terror damage, because of course it does. And again, I have the modeled purple gourd thing on my bar, so I can just get rid of terror when it comes. I don't really bother ever preemptively putting it on, because chances are it's not going to kill you with, 1 attack, unless you're really, really, really unlucky. So even if your bar fills up, like 9/10 full, and you manage to run away from it, then you can drink once and it will clear your bar for you. Currently having a rough time of it. A bit of a rough fight, but I mean, again, it happens. Not all fights are clean. What am I, a speedrunner? Nope, that probably should have hit me right there, but luck was on my side. Also, again, as I said when I was facing the Corrupted Monk the first time, a lot of these are, opportune moments to do the jump and double jump off their head, and I'm just not confident enough yet to do it consistently. I say not confident enough, but it's more along the lines of my muscle memory isn't set up for that. I have too much trouble, you know, remembering in time to be like, oh, side swipe, instead of jumping away, jump on top. Especially because half the time when I do end up jumping up, it just, I end up just, jumping, as you see me do all the time, I jump far to the left or the right like a crazy person. But there's nothing wrong with being crazy every now and then. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a box. It was filled with rats. Rats. I hate rats. They drive me crazy. That one might be too aged for you, but who knows. But yeah, good. Dead. Kill the centipede. We'll continue on our way. We have now officially entered the Divine Realm. Meaning that we have 2 bosses left, I think. Sorry, 3. One of them's optional. But I didn't avoid any of the optional bosses, which I probably should have, because freaking Demon of Hatred. My weakest fight. I mean, there's a lot about that fight that I just straight up don't like. It's like all the worst parts of the Headless Ape, but made even worse, because we'll talk about it when I get there. Well, I'm gonna be there long enough. It's gonna be like half a freaking hour of this video. It's like, would you like a full 6 of your video to be one boss because you're terrible at it? Maybe. Yeah, so these are all the guys. Honestly, you don't really have to kill them, but they will sap your vitality and make you old. And it's hilarious to see the first time it happens to you, because you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? But after that, it's just really annoying, and you spend your time just hiding, trying to hobble away. I've had that happen, where I tried to hobble away from some enemies chasing me down as I was, you know, running on my sword, being like, please, I'm old, leave me alone. Needless to say, they did not. They killed me. Off to the side is to the left is the one Vol boss, which it's the mini boss. Not going to bother fighting it again. There's no rewards. Also, it is entirely possible to or sorry, it's not. It's a bit further along, but it's across the wall. But you can one-shot it if you sneak up behind it and use a firecracker. One-shots it, but even then, it's not a difficult boss. It's easier, I would say, than the original Flaming Bull, because again, the corridor is so tight, it's easy to get it caught on walls, whereas opposed to when it has room to run, it's harder to follow it through. You could run straight through these guys. I wait. I mean, no harm in not waiting. And then there are 2 more of the weakened guys here, so I just kill one with shurikens because I can. And then I'm just going to run and kill the second one, which is around the corner. Good. So I'm just going to sit here, grab it. I'm going to be chased by that purple guy who flings lightning at me, but it doesn't matter. Great Carp comes. Huzzah! I don't kill the Great Carp in this because there's literally no point. It's just for a side quest. Which you get here. You get it in this area. You get the side quest for it to free the woman's father. The reward for it is nothing special. I mean, I did it a second time, and all I got was a Divine Grass. I don't even remember what I got the first time. But, I mean, it's an experience to do it the first time, like, it's fine. But you just get, like, a boss item, which is the whiskers, which you then give to the father to, which then gives you the reward. But it's not actually a fight. It's just like what we did with the Great Serpent. You just, you know, feed it poison, and it dies. That's it. That's the entirety of the fight. So it's not even a fight. So I don't even consider it a boss. There is an achievement for it, so if you don't have the achievement for it and you want it, well then you need to go give a bunch of carp scales to one of the pot nobles or whatever. And once you spend like 7 or something, I can't remember the exact number you have to give him. Once you give it to him, he'll give you truly precious bait. So all you have to do is go to the whatchamacallit and ring the bell, feed the carp the truly precious bait, and then the carp dies. So then you go back to where you fought the monkey the first time, the ape, and the the carp's dead body's going to be there. So you go get the whiskers, then you come back here and give the whiskers to the guy, and that's it. That's the whole fight. Well, it's not a fight. It's just essentially an event. So I don't consider it a boss. Just in the same way that the Great Serpent isn't considered a boss because you don't do anything. It's not even like a gimmick fight. Like, at least in, Dark Souls 1, when you fight, Bed of Chaos, it's a gimmick because you have to break both sides and then drop down in the middle and then kill that little worm thing. But you do something, there's the chance you die, and then you get souls for it. Whereas the reward, you don't even get rewards for any of this. Like, there's no reward, like, that builds your character, makes your character stronger. You just get items for potential endings in terms for the Great Serpent, but for the carp, you just don't even get anything. It's just waste. So anyway, we're just gonna get on the idol. Throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip. There's another side quest here where you open the gates. Which, is opening gates hard? I don't think so. I mean, there we go, I just opened some gates. They said it couldn't be done. They said they haven't been opened in years. Well, I'm here to shake things up. Doesn't matter anyway, because then if you ever just rest and come back, the lady who gives you the quest to open the gates is just stabbing one of the dead bodies, and then she just dies. That's pretty much how everything ends here. Finish a side quest with a character, they die. Spoilers. That or you have to kill them. There's the surgeon side quest, which is just you having to kill people, and it's really annoying. But yeah, so we're gonna go fight the Divine Dragon. We're just gonna run up here. Tra-la-la. There's an idol up here. There's also like 3 of the purple dudes who use lightning up behind me, which I just ran past because, again, there's, like, why not? So rest of the idol. Everything's full so far. We're just gonna run up. We're gonna go fight the Divine Dragon. Which is kind of a gimmick fight, but it's also a gimmick fight that I'm not very good at. Mostly there's a couple reasons this fight that I'm, not the best at it. One of which I could probably fix, but I'm just never going to do that. So we're just going to stab all the stupid little dragons, because they're stupid little dragons. Honestly, you should, like, if you're at full health, you shouldn't even do death blow animations on them, just waste time. All they do is bout poison, pretty much, but they also shoot up trees, and so all you want to do is you want to go into the trees, you want to jump, you want to do a death blow stealth kill, and pretty much it'll kill a crap ton of them. And again, like, you'll notice that when I did that second jump there wasn't a single red dot for stealth kills, or like above air stabs, because for some reason this game is not very tight when it comes to like death from above type stuff, which I really wish that they had, spent a bit of time to fix it, because it's really annoying to sit there like I am above literally like 12 enemies right here, trying to do what I'm supposed to do, and you wouldn't give me the dot when I jumped. Like, please, sir, I'd like some more. But anyway, so let me get to this part. Now, essentially what it is, I mean, you just avoid his sword slashes, which isn't super hard, though you'll see me fail every now and then. But the big thing is, you just want to run to wherever the lightning is, and then you want to lightning attack him. So the annoying part for this is that pretty much you want to break target on him to then transport yourself between the trees to then do lightning, to be able to do lightning attacks on him. But in order to make the lightning attack work properly, you generally want to target him again, because it's really easy to screw up the lightning shot if you're not targeted to him. But the biggest issue is just grappling between these trees is really annoying. The reason for that is, and I feel like I could do better by fixing the sensitivity I have on it, but it's my x-axis when I'm going between the trees, and I found this just in general for a lot of when I'm playing the game, but my x-axis is a lot slower than my y, and I'm just playing with the default sensitivities. So it makes it really annoying for when I make it to one side of the tree branches to then turn my camera slowly to then look back behind me. Because ideally what I want to do is I want to start going the other way while I'm still in the air, but because my camera is so slow, I end up needing to land on the tree before I can start, jumping between the trees again. And that's the only thing that I should fix, which I'm never going to because I'm lazy. But yeah, so then he'll blow you back when you do a bunch of damage to him, and then you just keep running. Try not to get hit. back to the lightning trees. Keep smacking them. And then he'll get enraged. Oh my god, the tree dragon, he's infected. Infected? Infected with what? Rage. So yeah, pretty much just run, avoid. I'm willing to bet you could deflect or dodge them. I've never tried though. I just run because I can. And then I'll get, punished heavily by getting smashed. Oh yeah, there it is. Getting smashed. If only I would try to heal. Ow. Please, sir, don't smash me in the face. Oh, and there it goes again. But yeah, you pretty much just wait it out, and then the trees come back. But there's less of them. Oh my goodness, there are less trees. Yeah, so then you get flung up in the air, super lightning him in the face. He collapses. Maybe you can grapple to the sword. I don't know. I never get the thing to show up for me, so I just run up and stab it in the eye. So we officially have every single item that we need in order to do our endings. Because you're going to mix these tiers with whatever we found previously. So the Everblossom or those frozen tiers of the Divine. So we get teleported back to, I believe, the Ashina Castle? Is that where we're going to go? I feel like that's where we end up. And everything's on fire and everyone's under attack. And we've once again for the second time, lost access to all of our previous idols. Which is why, as I said previously at the very start, there's no point in me getting like 3/4 of those idols in the Ashina outskirts and the Ashina Castle, because you're just going to lose them all anyway. Yeah, Ashina Castle, there we go. So Isshin's dead. Emma's, hanging out with him like, hey dude, how's it going? Sucks that you're dead. Maybe should have died, in a bed or something instead of just on the floor, awkwardly, just laying there. Emma doesn't want to move the body. I mean, I don't think she can carry him to the watchtower anyway, so whatever. Yeah, so we're just gonna rest. Gonna head out. And we're gonna go deal with the Demon of Hatred. The worst boss in the entire freaking game. Just like, it's just a worse version of everything that you've ever dealt with. It's like a worse version of Manus. It's like a worse version of I saw someone compared it to a Demon's Soul, or a Bloodborne boss. It's just not a good boss overall. I'd say he has too much health. His attacks are awkward. I wouldn't say awkward. But they're just something that they change a lot on you. Like, there's me falling to my death. This is me trying to... I screwed up. I was supposed to do my regular drop, like, through the courtyard to then reach the graveyard idol. And I was like, oh, I'm on the wrong side of the castle. Well, instead of running all the way around, I'll just, grapple the kite, because it's right there. But no, turns out, in Sekiro fashion, you can only grapple from this rooftop, which is lower for some reason. So, thanks, game. Regardless, we're just going to keep heading towards him. But, in Dark Souls 2, when they released the, was it the Sunken Crown? No, the Iron Crown DLC? Yeah, the smelting iron one with Fume Knight. They pretty much remade Smelter Demon. As in, it was literally Smelter Demon with the exact same attacks. The only difference is that they tweaked the attack timings that he had, which is the worst thing you can possibly do when it comes to a boss, because all of your muscle memory for how the boss works is set to, the first Smelter Demon. So you're trying to roll and dodge your attacks with the original Smelter Demon, but surprise, he is slightly, like, half a second off timings for all this stuff, so you end up constantly getting hit. It just was the worst thing they've ever done, and I hate them for it. But, I mean, that's what we get for B team. But anyway, here what they end up doing is in the first phase of the fight, for the most part, anytime the Demon of Hatred does his running lunge, he'll generally stop, do a pose or some garbage, and then do his attack, which is, like the huge Manus hand slamming down, or, throwing fireballs or whatever it is he's going to do. Once you hit phase 2 or 3, he can still sometimes do that pose, but he can also just ignore it entirely and immediately proceed with, throwing his fireballs or slamming his hand down. Now, the way that I originally, do that is I try to jump with him in whichever direction he's going and then just charge straight at him to try to get under, his fireballs or under his slamming hand so that I can hit him so he's open to an attack while he's doing that. Unfortunately, when it's, a 50-50 crap shot of, is he going to do the pose which gives you time to run under him, or is he just going to immediately throw fireballs into your face? Well, then it's, am I going to win it or am I going to lose? It's a not skill related, it's based on a roll of a dice and RNG. Now, my first problem here is I honestly should have just sat and waited for all these NPCs to die. Or NPCs, just these mobs. I should have sat and waited for these mobs to die. I've never once fought and killed the Demon of Hatred with these mobs alive. So this whole fight I'm being paranoid about whether or not they'll hit me with their attacks too, or if they'll stop aggroing on me and instead go and aggro on him. I honestly should have waited for the Demon of Hatred to kill them all, and then rested to reset the fight, and then started, but I didn't, because I don't know, I just didn't, and that's my bad. But yeah, this fight's just a lot of run. See, for the most part, if, my goal for when I do all this stuff is obviously, when he does his long-range attacks, I try to run in to be under it as fast as possible. Problem arises, of course, when I fail at that, and then I get hit for massive damage. Hit him in his weak point for massive damage. Yeah, see, I think right there, one of the mobs just hit me. Which, really annoying. Now, I have heard that there is a one of the Shinobi prosthetics, I think the umbrella, is a really good one to use here because you can literally just use it to block his fire stuff and it just absorbs it all. Which sounds great. Problem, of course, being that, again, I don't use them because I'm lazy. But, what can you do? Oh god. Yeah, one of the best things that he can do is when he does that jump up into the air, you can just, I prefer jumping in the air myself, and then, when I grapple to him, as I'm coming down, I can generally get 1 or 2 free hits on him before I roll up and get even more free hits on him. Because I found that if you, see, there he didn't really do a pose, just went straight into it, so I couldn't run under it. I had to, actually try to avoid it. But, as I was saying was, nope, words are hard. Forgot what I was saying. Good job, me. Oh, I found that if you grapple to him while you're still on the ground, the angle that you come in at is too awkward, so you don't really do, it's more inconsistent with whether you actually manage to get a hit on him, because usually when you come in and you attack from above, you're hitting him on his hand as you approach into his stomach. But, I mean, whatever works for you. Generally, me standing there getting smashed in the face with a fiery fist doesn't really work for me, but I did it anyway. And no word of a lie, I think it takes me 3 attempts to kill him, and because he has so much health, and because he has 3 health bars, this fight is just a huge grind. So I will say that it's going to take me about half an hour to kill him. Fair warning. And so, you can fast forward if you want. It's just not a great fight. I don't find it super interesting. Honestly, for the most part, you could skip the first phase entirely and just have 2 and 3. Because 1 doesn't offer much. There's nothing really interesting that phase 1 even offers. And if we're going to get down into it, one of my biggest gripes, aside from the mini-boss one, and that there's no the rewards for mini-bosses are pointless, is that I don't like phase fights. Just the way they work on someone mentally is annoying. I accepted Ornstein and Smau in Dark Souls 1 because it's a singular event, it's unique, and you know, it only happens once, so it's fun. You manage to beat ONS, and you're like, oh my god, that was so tough. There were two of them, and then, you know, one absorbed the other and powered up, so, you know, that's something you can be like, wow, this is really fun. And then, of course, Dark Souls 2, which is a terrible game, which mistakes quantity for complexity, decided to make, you know, not necessarily multi-phase fights, but they put in, you know, just, you have to fight 2 guys at once, isn't that fun? Or, you know, 3 guys at once. It's like, oh man, both Royal Rat fights, gotta face multiple foes, Watcher and Defender, multiple foes, Dragon Riders, multiple foes, Flexile Sentry and New Game Plus, multiple foes, New Game Plus, whoever the lady under the tower is, multiple foes, and so it just becomes the slog where you're like, great, this sucks and it's pointless. But it's not exactly the same as it was in Sekiro. But I mean, Dark Souls 3, I really dislike the DLCs because it's just multi-phase fights, and then what ends up happening, and it especially happens in Sekiro, is if you screw up in the first phase, you sit there and you end up going, well, I screwed up in the first phase, I've used, you know, half my healing gourds or my Estus flasks, I may as well just kill myself now to reset the fight because I know that I'm not going to get through it. Or, you know, oh man, I beat phase 1 and 2, but I'm having a lot of trouble with 3. Well, I just died again. Time to go do phase 1 and 2 again, even though I've beaten them and I can pretty much do it with my eyes closed. Well, still have to fight through it. Or, you know, what I said previously, which is, oh, well, I know I have to get to phase 3 and I just used, you know, 4 of them in phase 1. Should I even continue going or should I just try to reset now? And I hate that mentality because instead of it being, oh man, look at how epic this fight is, it's, well, how much of my consumables can I hold, or how much of my healing can I hold until I get to the actual hard bit, which is, you know, phase 2, or in the case of the Demon of Hatred, phase 3. And it's just not fun. Dark Souls 3, it was terrible. You get the, when you do the demon fight, it's okay, well, go kill one demon and then the second demon, and then it'll become another demon. And then when you die, you go, great, now I have to go kill these 2 demons with huge health bars again and again and again, just so I can then hope to get to phase 2. I know, probably not a problem for everyone, I just don't like the way it works because it makes me, instead of trying to enjoy the fight, I'm instead thinking, well, do I have enough healing gourds for the next phase of the fight? Which is the problem with the final boss of Sekiro, because it's 4 phases. You have to kill 4 full enemies. And it's like, well, do I really need to kill Genichiro then? Like, I know he's supposed to be like a gimme fight, but it's entirely possible to die to him. Like, I've already proven that I can kill him when I killed 3 phases of him, you know, at the midpoint of the game. Or, you know, if you're amazing, when I killed him at the start of the game, and then again in the midpoint of the game. Why fight him again? And then it's okay, well, now you're fighting, you know, Isshin, the first phase. And it's like, okay, the first phase is a bit of a joke. There's even, you know, the cheese strat where you just wait for him to do his one attack and then you avoid it. Well, surprise, you can do that exact same thing in phase 2 and 3 as well for Isshin. But you just end up sitting there and you're like, well, why can't you just give me a health bar and then, you know, have it based off that? But even then, this is just my rant. I mean, you don't have to listen to it. You can just fast forward to, I don't know, whatever time point it looks like it's the 3rd time I'm facing him. But like the 3rd one, you have the phases with the demon fight, which is bad. Like, it's just not a good fight. And then you have Midir and you have Gale, and Midir is just a garbage fight. Like, it just takes too long. His health bar is way too large for how simplistic the fight is. It's literally, like, everything that Midir does is really easy to learn. It's not super hard, but then if you make a mistake, he's going to take off 95% of your health bar. So you're like, well, Gotta make sure that I'm not screwing this up, and then you're hitting him for generally half damage. Like a quarter damage even, because you want to aim for his head, but his defenses make it so he takes like half damage, unless you have the Wolf Blood Sword or something. So you're dealing half damage, but if you screw up and you don't hit his head, then you're hitting his arm or something, which is half damage of half damage. So it just makes a really long fight. Not an interesting fight, just long. Gale, on the other hand, is kind of the same, where he has 3 phases to his fight, but 1 health bar. So you have it all in 1 health bar, but there's still literally 3 distinct phases. And after a while you sit there and you're like, okay, well, phase 1, which is him just running around jumping, is really easy, not really a challenge. I like phase 2 and 3 a lot more because they were a lot more mechanically interesting. And then you sit there and go, well, why does phase 1 even exist then? Should it be there? If that phase is just to be, you know, an introduction, and then once you've got it mastered, it just doesn't even do anything for you, then should it really even be there? And I don't think it should. Especially because, again, Gale just has, and because they had to put in 3 phases, Gale's health bar is massive. Like, if you look at the amount of damage that you do to any boss in Dark Souls 3 in the normal game, and compare it to how much damage one swing of your weapon does to any of the DLC bosses, you're taking off a way smaller chunk of health. And I think it's wrong, but what do I know? But anyway, that's what this fight is, which is Demon of Hatred. It's 3 full health bars, he has a crap ton of health, and he can do these like instant long-range attacks, which can then just proceed to pretty much instantly kill you. So you're already doing a long grind, and this isn't really, you know, like when I was fighting, say, Owl the second time or something. Like, you know, you have that back and forth where, you know, he attacks me and I deflect it, and then once he gets deflected, then I start attacking him and I get like 1 hit in, and then he deflects me, and then I'm back to deflecting against him, and it's back and forth like that. This fight is just run around in a circle and wait for a good attack so you can hit him a couple times and hope to stun him, kind of like what you do with the ape. And then when you get to phase 3, it's, oh, watch you get stuck in a ring of fire, while he will then just charge at you back and forth, and then you have to wait for the fire to dissipate so that you can go back to trying to fight him like you were in phase 1 and 2. I'm like, hooray. Man, this is so fun and interesting and taking advantage of, you know, the mechanics of the fight. Because again, you don't want to deflect, because while I said previously that, you know, burn isn't really an issue, that's not entirely true, because if I were to use this fight and fight it as, you know, parrying and deflecting, I'd be accumulating burn damage out the wazoo, and I'd just burn myself down like crazy. So you can't afford, because his health bar is 3 health bars and they're really big, you cannot afford to then do a parry strat where, you know, you're using your gourd, which has 5, which only has 5 uses to keep yourself from burning, and because this guy is literal fire, you pretty much get a full burn bar in 2 or 3 hits. So it's not going to do anything for you anyway, so you can't fight it that way. You literally have to just sit here and run in a circle, wait for him to do a good attack, and then just hit him. Oh, and hope that you have enough gourds left over by phase 3 that you can afford to take some ridiculous hits. And again, there's just so much wasted time. Like there, it took him, what, 10 seconds before I could start phase 2? I will say the one other, this one's a lot more minor, but it's also really annoying for me, is I wish that they'd made his legs bigger. Because there are a lot of instances, because you're running around so much trying to avoid him and everything he does, where you think you're getting in for a hit, but in reality, because, you know, you're positioned in such a way where you're just not good enough to hit his bum, and you're kind of too far away from his skinny legs, that you just hit empty air, and there are so many hits that should have been hits, but because of how his body is shaped, you just don't get those hits on his legs. So I wish they'd made them just even a little bit more thick. Yeah, and there's the fireballs to the face that I really couldn't do much about. Ugh, fireballs. Just sing the song. Fireball, fireball. Stomp attack generally gets 2 hits in. Same with that, whatever that attack is push. If you're lucky, you might get one or two. Same with that when he does a lunge. Jump in the air, as I said, you should get about 4, because if you're lucky, you'll get 2, 1 on hand, 2, and then 2 more. Depends on how well your landing goes, which are never always consistent. So my first one there, I got 3, and this one I got 4. Then he does again that, which is usually 2 hits. I don't attack him on that one, because he has that 4th follow-up that he could always do, which is dangerous. Here, we're now at the point where, see, he did a pose there, and then he did his wind-up, so I had time to get there, but unfortunately he did his fireballs, so I have to run around them. But it still opens him up to a lot of hits here. But, so he did that weird pose, but it's a crapshoot. It's possible that he does that lunge and then he immediately transitions into his ranged attack. So you're now at the point where you can't take advantage of it. You have to sit back and go, well, let's wait for it to see what attack it is. See? No, he didn't do a pose there. Also, may I just say, good job, knee shuriken. Good job, knee shuriken. So now we're in phase 3. Phase 3 is more the same, just kind of annoying. He does this, fire spin attack, so you just kind of stand and jump twice when it gives you the trigger. And then you're stuck in a wall of fire. If you're lucky, he'll just keep doing attacks that you can take advantage of. If you're unlucky, he'll do another one of his, claw charges. And if he does a claw charge, you are then stuck. Like, you have to sit there and wait. And then he'll come in again with his, but this time, with his other claw hand, so you have to wait for that to finish. Usually he'll do it while the fire's still up, though it's entirely possible that the wall of flame will dissipate before he does it, like he did this time. But that's the only difference, which again, I don't know why they couldn't just make a, phase 2 and phase 3 into the fight, because phase 1 just becomes this pointless slog where there's still a good chance you're going to get hit, and it just consumes your health potions. Fireballs is generally easy, though I made a huge mistake there. If you're dumb like me, and you're just naturally used to, in Dark Souls or anything, while you're running, just popping your shield up. In Sekiro, when you do that, putting your short sword up for deflections when that happens, it just absolutely ruins your it slows your speed to such a huge degree that you can't do anything about it. And that's the oh, and then I got head slammed. But that's the reason why I got hit by those fireballs there. Is instead of continuing to run, I accidentally hit my defend to deflect, and it just kills your speed, and I just immediately got smashed by fireballs. So what is this? I think this might be turn 4, attempt 4. This should be the last attempt. But yeah, as I said, this boss took me about half an hour. It really shouldn't. None of the bosses in Sekiro should be this long. Just like, I mean, it's the same thing in Dark Souls. Like, when you see, speedrunners and stuff fighting these bosses, they just know everything. They know every moveset, everything they're possibly going to do, and they can take advantage of it like crazy. And this is just, a tank fight. This is essentially Meteor again, except I would say Meteor's worse, just because your opportunities to hit Meteor are a lot smaller than they are here with the Demon of Hatred. I will say though that I do like the story behind the Demon of Hatred, with him being the sculptor, and how he becomes the Shura Ending as opposed to you if you side with Wolf. And then the old woman in the castle who's like, "Do you know who that was?" And you go, "Yes," or you go, "No," depending on if you've followed the path all the way through the conversations. Yeah, it was at this point that I figured out that rather than, wait for a good opportunity to get, my last couple hits in, oh my god. Using the shurikens was a better plan, just because he has almost no health left. You'll notice there, that was another fault of their slightly shoddy red dot activations. I was there with him stunned to do my killing blow for the health bar, and instead it was just registering regular attacks, and I was just spamming it like crazy, and if you don't do it in a certain amount of time, then he turns around and he gets back up, so you have to hit him again and reactivate the red dot. And it's one thing that I just wish it was a bit tighter. This is the only, in the entire playthrough, this is the only time that, the killing death blow thing has been an issue, and I think it's due to the size of the boss. But again, it's the same issue that you have with, jump attacks, your stealth kills from above. Nothing's worse than, setting yourself up, being stealthy, being like, oh man, this death blow is going to be amazing, and then not having it go off for you and going, oh, well that sucked. Which is honestly really odd, because while people might, hate certain bosses in Dark Souls, or, not like certain aspects of it, generally saying, the hitboxes and stuff associated with that is too loose is never something you hear. You always hear that, it's really tight, everything's really focused. You never feel like you're cheated that, your hitbox was out of whack when you took that hit. Heck, there are a bunch of videos you can see, especially against, there's one when he's up against, I think it's Artorias, someone's up against Artorias, and as he's, rolling and doing his dodge, you can literally see Artorias' sword just, going over top of his head and stuff, because Artorias has such a weird moveset. And you're like, wow, that's actually really impressive. And then you see someone like me who's sitting here for half an hour on the stupid Demon of Hatred because he's just a garbage piece of poo. I mean, yeah, you just notice at this point that I've kind of started giving up on the, charge straight for his feet whenever he runs. That last one I was obviously way too close for it. You should just run to the left or the right, wait to see what he's doing. Because the problem is, the biggest problem with it is that, if you are too far away and he does his hand slam down, he's going to hit you, he's not going to kill you, you're going to get, fill your burn bar a bit, but it's not the end of the world, it'll probably go away by the time it becomes relevant again. But that's it. That's the attack, you're done. The problem is if he decides to throw balls of fire at you, because what ends up happening is he's going to throw balls of fire at you, and if you're too close, or if you're not close enough to him at the time, you're going to get hit straight in the face with that first throw, and then you're going to naturally want to roll forward to get closer to him, and you're going to roll directly into his second fireball throw, and that will kill you. So then you just sit there and go, well, that sucks. So literally your best bet when he does his charge away is to try to get kind of close to him, but, you know, just be ready to go to the left or the right, or stay far back, and then once he's finished that ranged attack, then you charge in as fast as you possibly can. Yeah, see, he's going to charge out the flames, then he's going to charge back. I mistimed it, got smacked really hard in the face, hurt my feelings, hurt my soul, hurt my body. That was just literal luck right there. I probably should have been hit by like 3 of those 4 attacks. Because that's his worst combo that he can do, is the 4 one. Because half the time he'll only do 3, which is when he ends on the foot stomp. But if you're facing whatever proper direction for it, he will then do a side swipe around for a 4th. And you don't want to be there for the 4th, because the 4th one just does so much damage to you. It makes you sad. And that was me thinking he was going to do a charge. But instead he was doing more fire. I didn't take tons of damage, so it's fine, but you know. Yeah, and then he charges out of the fire, so you can't do anything to him. And then he charges back in. Never mind. He should have charged back in, but instead he decided to jump. Well, that was new, and I was ill-prepared for it, so good on me. See, at least when he jumps up in the air and slams down, at least that's a nice attack that you can guarantee get a couple hits in with. Oh, that was unfortunate. You'll notice I have no health potions left. I have no more healing gourds. And you'll also notice that he still has like half of his life for his final bar, so aren't I lucky? And I die. And this is my last res. And immediately, yeah. Remember when I said I thought that I was going to win this one? That was a lie. It was a lie. This one for sure is the one. I don't know if it's true. You on YouTube will know for sure, because you'll be able to, you know, put your cursor over the video and just kind of roll it forward until you see where the Demon of Hatred is no longer the bane of my existence. I will say though that before I did Shura Ending, so in my new game +2, so the third one that I did before I finished it, that's when I did my farming for the, to get all the skills. And by the time I was done with it, I didn't do all of it, mind you. I did all of them minus, I think, 6, because I figured I could get, you know, 6 skill points in my new game +3, which I did. But, I was sitting at something like 96,000 sen or some garbage. I lost all of it to the Demon of Hatred. And you sit there and you're like, why? But again, I'm sitting there with 96,000 sen. Now if I'd wanted to, I could have just gone and bought infinite confetti. But I don't even use confetti anymore, because I don't fight Headless or Shichiman, so there's no point. I'm especially not going to fight underwater Headless, because God forbid they steal my soul from my butthole and put it up their own. If you weren't aware, that's actually what they do when they grab you from behind. Is I guess there was a belief that part of your soul resided in your butt. So what he's doing is he is grabbing your soul from your anus, and then he shoves it up his own. Doesn't that make you feel good? Part of you is inside of him. Quick, me, do a shuriken. Yeah, shuriken. Phase 2. Fight. Again, I hate the fact that you have to wait, 10 seconds before you can even start getting him on phase 2. Because again, he has 3 phases. Like, what is me waiting for, 10 seconds for phase 2 helping in any way? Like, it's not helping anything. Don't waste my time, flaming demon of death. Oh, that was close. You saw me there. I was having trouble again getting, having the red dot show up for me. I feel like it has to do with your camera angle and whatnot, but it's just it's really annoying. You'll notice that when he does his hand slam down, that I get the prompt to do a grapple. I've never once actually managed to pull that off, though, so I don't know. I don't know if that actually is really beneficial or not. Maybe one day if I remember, I'll try to pull it off. I don't know where he is. Oh god, where is he? Oh, hello, sir. Thank you for almost stomping me in the face. I literally cannot tell you how that hit me. I have no idea, but, whatever. There we go. Nope. There we go. And we killed him. All that matters. Finally, he's dead, and we can move on to the final boss of the game. Only took like 34 minutes, 35 minutes. Don't even worry about it. Just don't even worry. Get that fistful of ash. That's my reward. It's a fistful of ash. And I guess a lapis lazuli. It's pronounced lazuli. Well, excuse me, princess. There, back in Ashina Castle. The only reason I went back here is because it gives me an easy drop down to then get to the reservoir. Because I'm pretty sure I lost all the others. I could have done Graveyard, but even then, there's no point. It's just really easy to drop here. And use that old shortcut from the very start of the game. I'm going to run past the mini-boss here. I'm going to pick that up because I can. I need that pellet. That pellet's going to be the most important pellet in this entire game. That is actually a lie. I'm never going to use it. But yeah, so we're just going to run past all these mini-boss. This mini-boss here, pointless. I mean, there's a fulminated mercury behind him if you need it. And then I'm going to fail that jump and fall to my death. Perfect. All according to plan. Take two. No, almost. No. Okay, almost screwed that up again. Take two. There we go. Sometimes jump just doesn't want to work for you. There's nothing you can do about it. Perfect. Look at that, a brand new idol. Where did it come from? And I'm just going to pop all my boss souls because I can. I don't think at this point having, you know, I heard that, the hard cap is out at 30, so there's no point really buffing your attack power anymore. But, I mean, why not? There's no reason not to. It's not like the souls are really going to do anything else for me. I can't turn them into, weapons or spells or anything like that. So no reason not to just buff my strength, my attack power. I'm going to need it for the super difficult fight coming up. Genichiro? Man, Genichiro's just too tough for me. Too tough. Too hard. He's going to immediately smash me in the face and I'm just going to die. It's going to be very sad. It's going to be a very sad event for you, for me, for you and I. It's going to be, no, for you and me. It's going to be a very sad event for me. Yes, it's you and me. Recently learned that one. I was like, why in so many places do people say you and me instead of you and I? And it turns out that actually you and me is actually relatively proper. Just reread the sentence to yourself and get rid of the you. And if it sounds weird with an I, then it's supposed to be me. And there we go. And it turns out that most people are forgetting that. Like me, I'd forgotten that for the longest time. So it's like, I am going to the store. Dave is going to the store with you and me. It'd be like, Dave is going to the store with I. You sound stupid. Dave is going to the store with me. But if it's like, Dave, you, and me are going to the store, it should be, Dave, you, and I are going to the store, because I am going to the store. There you go. I just helped you with some grammar. And I also just got straight stabbed in and then shot in the face. Perfect. I like it. Ow. Stop shooting bows, please. Bows are not designed for you. I don't know if that's true. I mean, you can shoot lightning from your bows, so you're probably better than me. And you just broke my guard, so you're probably even more better than me. Please cease. Cease and desist. Please cease and desist with your fiery black sword of death. Yep, good. Didn't want to Mikiri counter that anyway. I actually wasn't going to Mikiri counter that. You can see that I was jumping. And I got stabbed. Yep, straight on the face. And there's this like 6 combo. Perfect. Mikiri! Nope, and I failed the Mikiri counter. Remember when I said that Genichiro was going to immediately smash me in the face and I was going to die? Well, that's what happened. What you saw there, that was the truth. I'm an oracle. Oh, crap. What's that? It's Halo. Once again, Halo. I am the monument to all your sins. There you go. Which is probably a reference to something else. Don't even know what. It's going to be some obscure poem I've never heard of. Like Ozymandias. Look upon my works, ye mortal, and despair. Remember me. That was a Futurama reference. Yeah, that's right. I said it. So anyway, we're back to the Genichiro fight. It's literally the same fight as we've done twice before. Or, I mean, it's pretty much the exact same fight you'd have at the very start of the game, though chances are you lost. Then when you fought him again on top of the castle, it's pretty much the same. It's almost identical. Like, there's nothing new here. I don't even know if he does lightning or not. Yeah, I successfully Mikiri countered that time. And as you can see, his, yeah, there, look at that, he's dead. Not even half health and he died, just because his posture is so easy to break. So he dies, goes huff huff, and then his dad, or sorry, his grandfather just pops out of his skin. Just, kablah, I'm here now. So people say for, cheesing the first strat here is just when he does, oh, okay, quick side note, that was me just walking like a dum-dum into the rock, so I couldn't avoid that attack. Just hit the rock and was like, why can't I move? Now I'm dead. People say the cheese strat for this is just wait for him to do his, that attack there, and you just sidestep and then you get 2 free hits on him. I kind of screwed it up there because I was ill-prepared. I personally prefer that attack, where he does that shockwave thing, because you can get a really easy Mikiri counter on him because of it. But yeah, if you're really having trouble, you can just wait for him to do that attack right there. the one that I just screwed up because I didn't sidestep far enough that second attack. But yeah. Yeah, him too, right here. Like builds up posture damage quite quickly. I should be healing, but I'm not because I'm bad. See, if you're too far back when that happens, he'll do that double slash attack instead, and it's very dangerous. Yeah, I will say the one thing about him is that in all aspects of when Isshin's fighting you, he reduces his posture bar very quickly. When he holds his sword up to the side, it's him reducing it. So your option is either to just pretty much go straight for his health bar, or you can just be really aggressive in order to get his posture bar full and break it, like I just did. There you can always just get some free hits so long as you roll backwards, because then he pulls out his spear. Here's when people really start having trouble. The mantra that I use when it comes to a lot of this stuff here is anytime he's open, for the most part, for a lot of stuff, you should really only do 2 attacks on him and then leave. There's always the chance you can get the third or anything like that, but there's also a chance that his counterattack will just hit you and ruin your face. So the simple attack that everyone says for cheese is right there. When he does that jump, then you can always just hit him in the back. You see I did 3 attacks there and I got hit by his counterattack. It should always be 2, just for safety purposes. And then he has a whole slew of attacks, and the best one is right there when you can Mikiri counter him back. So as I said earlier, like if you find one attack that works for you, just wait for that one attack, like what people do when he does his jump at you. But also, you know, if you find another one you feel comfortable with, then start doing that one too, because here's the jump, you know, pretty comfortable with it, do your 2 attacks. But then if he also does his combo for the Mikiri counter, well, go do the Mikiri counter too. And if you can, you know, block more of his attacks to help build up his posture bar, then do that as well, like, obviously. But I'm saying just so long as you find one thing that you're comfortable with, you can then get through, and it doesn't matter how you do it. And there we go, we're on to Phase 3. Phase 3 is pretty much identical to Phase 2, except he's going to start throwing in lightning. Now, as I said earlier, I am really bad when it generally comes to lightning. Also, that jump right there that I did was a complete fluke. Not actually, like, that was just luck on my half. I'm really bad with the lightning, on average. Like, the odds of me managing to pull it off, which is supposed to be the way you kill him, literally you're just supposed to beat him by, you know, well, I don't say literally, but this fight is designed so that you can just lightning him to death really easily, and I'm just not confident with the lightning. Throughout the game, like you playing the game, lightning is just so rare that you're just ill-equipped to deal with it. Like you face it with Genichiro, and then you also face it, you know, in the Divine Pavilion or whatever, Fountainhead Palace. Sorry, but not to a huge amount. And then the Divine Dragon fight, that doesn't count as actually using lightning in the battle, because the lightning just, you know, you fly up into the air and then the lightning is just there for you. So I just got really lucky during this fight where I pretty much all of his main lightning attacks I was able to take advantage of them. And throwing, you know, some Mikiri counters or something, and it's ideal. There we go. Smack him once, he's dead. And there we go, we've beaten all bosses. So, all that's left now is I'm going to choose an ending. You will see when I go to choose my ending that I have the option of all 3. And I'm going to pick one. And then I'll just let the cutscene run, and that'll be it. So, thanks for watching. Have a good day.
そばにおります。竜の涙を。参りましょう、我が巫女。
九郎殿、今はどうか安らかに私の心にとどまってください。さようなら、みんな。私は行かねばなりません。我らの因果を断ち切るために。とても長い旅になります。それでも共に来てくださるのですか？
はい。
ありがとう、竜の忍びよ。九郎殿も喜んでおります。参りましょう。西に神なる竜の故郷に。
一心の国。